Welcome everybody. This is a momentous occasion. Lucid is 1 year old, and to celebrate, we've got what's going to be our biggest stream to date. Number one priority, because we're giving away so many cases, is not to leak them like we did last week. We will see if we can manage. We do have the culprit of last week's Lucid key debacle. We'll get to grill him about what was going through his head and how high his cortisol spiked. We've got a stacked guest list, but before we get into everyone and start talking and hanging out, main thing I want to say is we are going to be giving away Lucid case keys every 5 seconds. We're going to be spinning the wheel every 5 seconds, so we want to start spinning right away. I know that's why everyone's here. So the first thing I need everyone to do while you're here, go into our Discord, go into the giveaway section, put in the correct email address, and let's get some people on the wheel, because we can be here we're not going to end it at an hour. Maybe it takes 2 hours. This is going to be a big one. I want to give away over 1,000 cases, so we need everyone to go into Discord right now and sign up. And Rick is going to let me know when we've got enough people. Chat, how are you doing today? How was your weekend? I just want to give everyone a little time to sign up for the giveaway before we get rolling. I saw the Ninja Trader live team in Miami this weekend. It was very fun. I got to you probably saw on Twitter, me and Brett had dinner together. Never thought that would happen, but it was no one stabbed each other, mostly because we were using chopsticks, and it's they don't have very sharp points, but it was a fun time. My voice might be a little hoarse. It'll probably get worse as the stream goes on, but I'll do my best. Let's see. People are telling us, can I get $10,000? You can get a 50K eval and try to withdraw 10K from the balance. I've seen a lot of people trying that the last week or so. Where to put your email? You go into our Discord. Under the updates section, there's a giveaway channel, and there's a link in there with a button, enter to giveaway. Can't chat in the giveaway. I mean, why would you need to? You can chat in YouTube. As you'll see, like I said, we want to give people some time to sign up here. You'll see on the screen here, we have a wheel with a 0 on it. We are going to have a counter running, so that every time the wheel spins, we're going to count it, and we'll rack up the high score. I think we'll get over 1,000 personally. I'm not sure if I said this. I said it in the announcement, but for those of you that are not clear, we want to beat the allegations that these things only have 40% off coupons in it, which is not true. So we have pre-rigged these cases. They are guaranteed to all have a 25K eval, every single one of them. And they might have, a bigger eval. They might have a direct account, or there are rumors that we have put in some 90% off coupons in there. I cannot confirm or deny this. We'll just have to see. I've said for a very, very long time that Lucid will never, ever, ever do a Save 90. But you know what? It's the 1 year anniversary. We have to see. You'll just have to keep spinning, and you'll have to let us know what you get. If you do happen to come across a Save 90, we need that. We need a screenshot of that. You do not get that Save 90 and not take a screenshot. We want to see those on Twitter. Even better if you get the Save 90, go on Twitter, post, take a screenshot, share it with us. We would love to call that out. Shout out. I mean, I've got to shout out the creator, the father of the 90% off, Daryl Martin. We wouldn't be doing Save 90s without him. So yeah, let's see what happens. How are we doing, guys, on entries? I'm asking Rick. I got Rick in my ear. Rick's coming up later. Wow. Okay. All right. 30 more seconds. If you did not enter the giveaway, you have 30 more seconds to enter it. We've got more than enough here. Thousands of people have already signed up. 30 more seconds, and we're closing the giveaway. Once we close it, you cannot sign up. We are just spinning the wheel. We cannot add more people after we start. So we'll give everyone a few more seconds here and we'll get this rolling. You enter by going into our Discord. You go into the updates section. There is a giveaway channel. You press the enter giveaway button. You put in your correctly spelled email address, and that's all you have to do. You will get an email as the wheel spins. 15 more seconds. We'll give everyone to 207. Once the clock strikes 207, we're done taking entries. Accounts only. Maybe some save 90s. We're gonna have some fun. Shut it down at 207, Rick. Once it strikes 207. You will know if you won by getting an email to the email that you enter in the giveaway. Everyone is very stoked about the save 90. It's 207. It's 207. You gotta end it. All right, we're locked in. If you did not enter, you are beat. Unfortunately, you are beat. What was the final count of entries? Almost 5,000 entries. 5,000 entries. We're probably going to give over 1,000. 4,800. We're going to give away over 1,000 cases. So you guys are going to have about a 20% chance of getting something. So we're going to have some fun here. So let's start spinning. Is the wheel prepped and ready? Oh man, look at that. Can you guys see your name on there? Can everyone see their name on the wheel? Let's make sure that we're not doxing any emails this time around. I don't want to have to delete the stream again. Let's give it a test spin. Let's give it a test spin and see how it works. Is that supposed to be the name there at the bottom? All right, so we got that. Let's see. See if we get. We're gonna recalibrate the counter. Well, I see the first winner. I think there's so many entries it didn't spin, but we did see the first winner. Let's make sure we get the counter on there. I just while the team gets this ready, I was like I said, I was in Miami this weekend for they had an event getting their team together, and let's just say I was not in my best shape leaving the airport, and I ran into some of the people while I did my walk of shame, and shout out to Salma OG. She's the one that I ran into, and she's like, "You are a trooper for doing this." And honestly, I'll give myself a pat on the back for being here. I mean, I'm the one that did it to myself, so we can't let a long weekend in Miami ruin the anniversary stream. That's for sure. So we once this starts, don't worry, we're gonna be spinning it all day. We're gonna have some fun. There we go. There's the counter getting centered. Beautiful. So we've got like I said, we have a stacked cast. But I just want to, chat a little bit just about, where we are, what we've done. The wheel is going to be going every 5 seconds now. And let's give away some cases. So year in review, it's just been a wild, wild time. When we started Lucid, the goal was, let's just have some fun with it. Maybe we are tier 2, tier 3 firm. We didn't need to be super big. It was, I think there were like 6 of us, plus like 5 support agents, like day one. So we had a team of like 10 or 11. Let's start a prop firm. Let's get to a mid-tier one, not go too crazy. If we end up being the place where all of the most unhinged traders go, and we just stay mid-sized, that would be a great situation. We did not intend on being one of the biggest ones, yet here we are. Certainly not mad about it, but it's been exhausting. It's been an exhausting ride. But I think, what it's kind of helped us get to where we are. Our goal was never, like I said, we were just like, let's be the fun place to be. Are we having a problem with the counter? Is it rolling? Okay, cool. I can't see the counter on the stream. Oh, I see it. So it's when it spins, the counter goes away, and then we're good. All right, so just start ripping that thing, Rick. Don't stop until your mouse breaks. Um, so we did not expect to be as big as we are right now. I mean, maybe 10 years down the line, right? When I was kind of pitching this to like, the first investor group, they're like, "How big can this be?" Like, what do you guys think it's going to be? I'm like, well, the biggest firm has like several 100,000 traders. But they've been around for 10 years. Like it's going to take us a hot minute to get there. Lo and behold, it only took us 12 months. And I think a lot of that has to do with, the people that are making this happen. We've all just kind of had the mentality of like, let's just have fun with it. Maybe we piss some people off and they don't want to trade with us, but as long as we are, being ourselves and being authentic, that's something that we think a lot of traders want. And we did not know how true that was. I think that resonates with a lot of people. I think something that's really cool is that I see when I go into our Discord on like a Friday night or a Saturday night, I see people hanging out, doing trivia together. It's pretty obvious that beyond just the trading and the accounts and everything like that, we've built a community of people that they've found like either their second home at Lucid, right? There's definitely like just like a small subculture. I mean, not small. I mean, it's a pretty big subculture growing where you guys are making lifelong friends, and that's really, really cool to see. Also really, really stoked that you guys just organically came up with a caste system of the grays versus greens. That is probably my favorite thing that has happened naturally, where you guys are basically created teams against each other. So that's been one of our favorite things. There's going to be a lot of gray versus green content coming in the near future. We want to throw some gasoline on the fire that you guys have started. So we've got a lot of fun ideas. Let's just say that the greens might have the role, right? They've got the green name and they've got the little logo next to their name. But I'm going to be, when we do the gray versus green competition, I am wholeheartedly rooting for the grays, because nothing would make me happier than to see the grays just mogging the greens by beating the brakes off them in all these competitions. I think that would be amazing content. I like the underdog, right? I love a good underdog story, and so that's who I'm going to be rooting for when we get into it. But you've heard enough about me. I think one of the goals of this stream, beyond just talking about where we've been in the journey, you guys all know me. I'm very, very active. We've been doing these streams together. We've been spending a lot of time together over the last year. The number one question I get, both from traders that I talk to and our partners, is who else is helping you? You can't be doing all of this by yourself, AJ. And I'm absolutely not. But there are a lot of very, very competent and talented people in the background, and I think we need to bring some of them up here today. Some face reveals, so that you guys can get to know who's making Lucid one of the fastest growing prop firms in the space. So we've got three people that you all somewhat know, and we'll bring them all. The first one is our marketing guy. You guys had the unfortunate displeasure of having to scroll through his TikTok feed a couple of weeks ago, and I think we're all worse off for it. So you'll get to meet the broken person that is the mind behind that TikTok algorithm. Rick, who everybody knows Rick, the most fired and rehired employee at Lucid Trading. We will get a Rick face reveal, so he can talk about what it's like to constantly, just be in the chopping block at Lucid. And then finally, last but not least, Lucid Admin's going to come up here. I don't know if he's showing his face. We'll have to see. But Lucid Admin is coming up here. We'll get to learn a little bit about the man or woman behind the sassiest anonymous account in Discord. So we've got a packed team here. So without further ado, let's bring on the king of brain rot, the Lucid marketing guy. Joe is coming up here. He's got the hoodie of the best prop firm in the industry. He's rocking it. Love it. Joe, how are you doing? What do you want to say to chat? All these people that you've been watching all the last couple of weeks as we stream.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have been my favorite reality TV show for the last 8 months. I spend a lot of my time, in the advertising world, we call it market research. But what I'm actually doing is just digesting all of your brain rots, your personal individual brain rots, and synthesizing that into one sort of like master brain rot account. And that is what we would call the Lucid Trading brand voice. Sort of a distillation of all of the fucked up things about our favorite people. And this little hoodie right here, this is a little gem. I think it's important to respect the people who pioneered, who paved the way for a company like ours. And they're not the only firm I rep, by the way. And so maybe as we progress through the convo, I can show you all my faves.
That's amazing. This might, I don't know if you've ever gotten this. I've seen a couple people call out Johnny Sins. Have you ever gotten Mr. Sins before?
No, I haven't. And honestly, it does feel a little like baldest. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, just because we're bald and white doesn't mean that we're the same people. Okay?
Yeah, exactly. You have a bigger penis, right? So
I'm way less known than Sins as well, and far more out of shape. I don't think I can pull the same people that Johnny pulls, with all due respect to my own game.
Exactly. What is the so people that don't know, you do draft a lot of the content that we have here at Lucid Trading. Are you the one that's putting all of our bald people loved Easter eggs in the content? And if so, is everything okay? Like, what's going on? What's going on at home, where you are constantly looking for therapy on coming to term with your baldness?
I am the one who is infusing all of our content with pro bald beauty standard sort of things. And to me, it's like, I really have two goals with every post we put out. One is to make everyone understand and know Lucid Trading as a trustworthy and reliable prop firm that they can trade with. And then two, that bald people have feelings too. And if I can sort of like hit both of those stories in 140 characters or less, I did my job for the day.
I love to hear it. I think that's a great description. I think people need to look harder for that bald content in there. There were previous rumors, previous conversations of a nickname for you, off of our favorite Twitch streamer, Clavicular. Do you want to take some time to kind of soft launch that idea and see if the chat thinks it could take on?
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to do a quick sort of like market research focus group, guys, if that's cool. And just put your unfiltered opinions in the chat and we'll kind of like go from there. But everyone knows Clavicular, our favorite meth maxing, look maxing streamer. And I think that as a personal bald maxer, I want to see some more representation of myself in the maxing community. So I want to do a bald maxing. Maybe this is me. Maybe this is my new social media handle. But a bald maxer named Follicular, which is, for those who don't know, a follicle of hair is how you measure. It's like an individual strand. 8th grade reading level. I'm not sure if people know what a follicle is, but we would do Follicular. And if you guys think Follicular would be a cool bald maxing influencer, let me know. Go on your favorite Lucid Trading posts and just write Follicular, and I'll know from there if the idea is hitting or not. Because bald maxing, I think there's a niche there. There's a gap in that market.
Yes, I think it's there's a bald maxing. I think the bald folks in the trading community and the community at large, they're feeling a little bit left out, but you guys can own it. And I think the name is great. I can't tell if there's a lot of W's in the chat. I can't tell if it's like they're so Wing because of Follicular or if they're just super excited to meet you. Either way, I think this is something that we just have to force because I think it's incredible. I think it's a great nickname, and we have to. We'll make it happen, even if it doesn't take on naturally. So I want to get a little bit more into the man behind Follicular. Joe, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and our background together? There's a bit of a story. I don't want to go too much into it. We'll keep the really juicy bits private, but we've known each other for quite some time. What's your take on your journey from when you met me to when we first started talking about Lucid, and why don't we just kind of start there and see where it goes?
Sure. Great question. Like you mentioned, we have known each other for quite a while, and I think it was very clear for me from day one that you had a fucked up brain.
Hmm.
And I saw some of my own fucked up brain in that, and I thought, if I just kind of hang on to this guy's friendship for a long enough, I think something is going to hit. I think I can basically get into uh, an AJ centric scheme,
Hmm.
make myself useful, and I think it's sort of that ended up manifesting pretty hard in September of last year. I think we've brainstormed on a number of schemes. You could
Hmm.
say, one might say, and when this one got off the ground and was showing to be a very, very like actual and real thing, and not just a sort of a group chat scheme. Um, I was like, damn, this is really going to happen. And I very much remember, fast forward to the summer of last year, getting a text from you and being like, bro, are you ready to quit your job? And I was like, sir, I will fucking quit tomorrow. You let me know. Um, and so it was interesting to go from 0 to 100 in the prop firm space. As you know, I'm not sure if people know this or if that ruins my credibility, but I am not like a finance person. I'm not from the trading world historically. Um, and so to immerse myself in the brain rot that is futures day trading culture, it's been a really good experience, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I think what's funny is that I think the music's a little loud. Let's take the music down like 20%. What's funny is, so like we had been talking about doing something like summer 2024. You actually came up with the first finance related scheme. Do you remember what it was?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
it was like because I was afraid that my corporate America 401k was like funding like all sorts of problematic things, and I wanted to know just
Where your
come
money was going.
where it was going. Yeah.
You were sending me videos of people doing like deep dives into what is like the black like ownership structure behind mutual funds. So and then when I knew Joe was right for this gig, what he was doing is he was sending me TikToks of people doing like deep tinfoil hat analysis on the corporate ownership structure on like some of the biggest companies on the Fortune 500. And there was this guy with a very extensive mustache kind of doing these breakdowns, and you really latched on to that content, and I was like, there's a thread to pull on here. And so he was pitching me on basically, let's build an app that allows you to like see what kind of criminal enterprises you're really funding with your retirement account. I think it was basically like Morningstar. For those that don't know, Morningstar is like a website where you can do research on, like, you get information on what everything's like invested in and like where those companies are and the holdings. But it was basically like Morningstar for the 4chan conspiracy theory and investigative journalist, right? Like, I think that's kind of where it was going. I think it was just like, how do we how do we take Morningstar and like make it so that it could be a tool for TikTok internet sleuths. And so that never got off the ground, unfortunately, but there was something there to pull on. It just never manifested. Maybe that's a spin-off that we can now do here. Let's see, that
Oh
might
yeah.
still have legs. I don't think anyone's made that yet. Hopefully they're not taking notes on right now, and we've just given away a multi-billion-dollar idea. But if there's one thing I know, it's that we can execute even if someone else gets a head start on that. But yeah, I had hit you up around that. We were talking about that like in the summer of 2024, and then like fall 2024. I'm like, I have something else that maybe we should get into, and I was like, you should quit your job and do this. And then you were like, maybe, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I don't want to ruin. You're in corporate advertising, have a decent gig. I'm like, maybe I should just risk ruining my own life first and give you a little bit of runway because we are friends, right? Like we are friends. I didn't want to, put you out in the street in Brooklyn. Those streets sometimes can get a little dirty. So I wanted to wait until we're a little bit more established. But, once this, like I said, September of last year, I called you and I'm like, it's time. Like this is real and it's happening. You can mostly safely quit your job and probably have a career here. And I'm glad it worked out. But I remember I called you when you were on a family vacation, like, and you were like, I think you didn't have internet for a few days. So like, what was like rolling through your head? Like, did you know immediately that you were down, or did you like get on with your mom and like, I'm about to do something really, really stupid. Like, can you talk me out of it before I pull the trigger? Like, what was going through your head?
It was definitely more so like, I didn't know how to explain what this was. People don't know what futures prop firm day trading is.
And simulated to that extent that it's so here's futures trading, but actually this is simulated, so it's not real trading, which is really easy for people that don't know anything about this to understand. Trading, but not real trading.
When you have, sort of like climbed the corporate ladder, built a very nice, healthy career for yourself, and then you tell your family that you want to leave for a startup that does something that you don't quite know how to articulate, that's typically a bad sign for, the promise of it. That being said, I knew right away that I was going to join. It was not a question. It was more so like, how do I convince everyone who loves and cares about me that I'm not like fucking up my life, essentially.
I had some of the similar conversations. The biggest hurdle for some people is the simulated thing. They're like, wait, so you're getting real market data, but the trades aren't real? They're like, how is that possible? They can't wrap their head around that. And it's hard if that, if they can't get over it the first one or two times. You just said, like, just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's real. It's a real business. It's just not real trading. And that's totally normal and not at all concerning if it doesn't make sense to you. You could just like keep that in your back pocket and don't worry about it too hard, which is really good for really reassuring them. Like once you say, like, just tell them not to worry about it, they're like, they stop them worrying about it immediately. Right.
Oh, 100%. I think that is like sort of the universal sign of like, just trust him. Just whatever you want to do, just trust him. And I burned all the bridges on my way out of corporate America. So it's sort of like, I got nowhere to go back. I'm flipping burgies if this doesn't pan out. So, and I'm pretty good at that. So not to my own horn.
Well, even if it comes to that, at least you'll have some stories to show for it. So you've been full time at Lucid for, I want to say it's almost about like 8 months now, which is actually kind of crazy. What are your top 3 moments? What are the 3 things that kind of stick out to you for being good, fun, depressing? When did your cortisol spike the hardest?
Bro, I mean, cortisol spikeage last week on stream when I accidentally leaked like 100 plus Lucid cases, and also like maybe doxed like 4 people's emails, which we took care of. All right, those are no longer on the internet. Don't worry. And if you did find that your email was doxed, we'll get you like what do big companies do? They like buy you like a Equifax credit monitoring service, so we could hook you up with one of those.
The Equifax, which itself got hacked, so we can trust them.
Yeah. So we'll make sure that your identity is secure in our hands going forward. But I will say that was probably my most cortisol max on the job, just because most of the time my other cortisol maxing levels are like reading responses to the Island Boys.
That's your favorite piece of content that we've put out, right? It has to be.
Well, it's the piece of content that keeps on giving, because every day I get a comment that says, I'm not trading with this firm because of this. And I like to go in there and either reinforce their opinion or try and turn it around, you know? And so that's a fun activity for me. And then I think we went to a conference in February,
Right.
which feels like
the Big Daddy Max options conference.
Yeah, we went to the Max Options Trading BDM zone, and it was really cool to meet like people who were just Discord people or like just a influencer I've seen on our timeline or an affiliate or whatever. It felt like the biggest group chat I've ever been in came to life, and so it was a very interesting experience, and it was like a lot of fun just because I was fighting for my life to like pretend like I wasn't hungover the entire time, and to, you know, maintain a modicum of professionalism.
Yeah, I don't know if Max did this on purpose, but so for those of you that weren't there, it was like a conference with like, you know, booths and everything. Most of it was trading related, like us, Tradeify, Alpha Futures, Apex, Fun at Futures Family. There might be one or two others that were there. Everyone had a booth, but there were a couple vendors that were not trading related, and Max strategically put us next to the booth that was giving away bottles of rum. So, you know, we may or may not have bought several bottles of rum for our table, which made Saturday a breeze. But also, and if you stopped by our booth, you know, you were either taking shots with Joe or I, or beating both of us at Super Smash Brothers. We won the first day where we just came in and didn't have the rum. Our Super Smash Brothers prowess on Saturday was not as hot. Yeah, the key, we were a little over lubricated for that one, but I think we still had a good time. Everyone that I meet like from that conference are like, dude, so much fun on Saturday. I'm like, I don't remember you, but I'm glad you remember me. Only good vibes though. It was a lot of fun.
I got to collect a lot of fun things at that, including this hoodie, but not just this hoodie.
Yeah, what else do you have under there? It looks a little. You look a little hot, right? Let's cool it down a little bit.
Chat, you mind if a white boy takes off a layer of clothing on stream?
Anything, Flickular can get away with anything. There we go. What a jersey! What a jersey! Boom! Alpha Futures.
Rep the set. My favorite Brit, Sean, was in attendance, and I felt like a prop from Thanos collecting merch from every every firm I could. And then when people would come to our booth, they would genuinely be so confused.
Yeah.
Is this another Alpha booth or Lucid and Apex merge?
Yeah. We wanted to start merger rumors going on, and the best way to start merger rumors is to have your employees wearing the merch of every single one of your major competitors. So now that I think about it, I was wearing the Apex hoodie. You were wearing the Alpha Futures jersey. The only person that was purely representing Lucid was the contractor security guard that doesn't actually work at Lucid. He was the only one really pitching our firm on Saturday. Shout out to Corey. We're gonna have to get him back on the content game at some point. He's a hidden gem that we will definitely be incorporating. But there was absolutely a point where it looked like every other firm was repping the Lucid booth, and there was just one guy who didn't work at Lucid, and he was pushing for us the hardest. So it was it's the rum's fault. You know, that's Max's Max put us next to the rum, and that's a recipe for you know, hilarity. What are you looking forward to 2026? Like you're obviously kind of very much so the mastermind, doing the big strategies for the marketing pushes. Are you excited? Anything particularly like on the marketing side, or is it kind of like bigger than that? Like what's on the roadmap that's got you jazzed up?
There's a couple things. I mean, of course, like I have like some marketing initiatives that I am personally excited about. Whether that's celebrating National Concrete Day in a bigger way next year, or if that's maybe taking delivery of some hard materials. I don't know if we're going to get shipped a container of crude or maybe a few wild hogs. Who knows? I think that would be a really fun piece. And I think we're going to do a lot more stuff that involves like linking up with traders in real life, taking the group chat, IRL, and just doing more in-person stuff, because I think we have a lot of fun talking to people and like hanging out with people. So that's going to be awesome.
So I'm glad you mentioned the taking delivery thing, because with everything going on, I've kind of forgot about that.
Wow.
I mean, there's a lot happening right now. For those of you that don't know, futures contracts, you can actually, what you're holding, like if you are holding a crude oil contract, you can actually take delivery of a physical barrel of crude. That goes for pretty much everything. Obviously, there's some rules with the CME about how you take delivery. I think the most famous piece and I don't know if you actually know this, Joe. This might be like a burst of inspiration. I think it was in 2020. I think it was in 2020 or 2021. It was either like during COVID or like in the aftershocks of the economic consequences from COVID. Crude oil futures actually went into the negative. Like they theoretically, like they would pay you to take a contract. So on Wall Street Bets, there were a bunch of like 18-year-olds that were just like, it's crude oil, free money, right? They were taking it. I don't remember exactly why, but it ended up being a pretty big problem for some of them, because I think you have to have a tanker like set to receive it. Like they bring the oil on like a truck to you, but you actually need the facilities to store it, and then obviously refine it too. Well, no, I'm talking about like you need a refinery to turn it into something useful, but just to have the oil, you need to have a barrel. So if I recall, and someone might correct me, I think there was someone that like, I might be making this up, but I know there's some lore there about like some kid like not realizing that like the oil showed up at his house, and he didn't realize that you can't just keep what they give it to you, and he like was stuck with like all of this oil. I don't know, there's some lore there, but I know that like taking delivery of something, like showing the journey of like why are these future contracts actually, like why do they exist, what happens like behind the markets, right? Everyone always thinks what's interesting that's happening in the background markets is the algorithm, but there's real like commerce happening, right? And like let's show people what that's like. Let's show people what these contracts represent, and the what's happening in real life from futures, and follow that journey and see what happens. I know that the hogs is one that's really sticking. We've joked a lot about a lucid hog in general.
I think
you're comfortable with a lucid hog, a lean hog sponsored by Lucid living in your house.
Yeah. I mean, we looked into the legalities of pet hogs in New York, and I'm not saying that I would move to facilitate parenthood of a hog, but I'm not ruling it out now.
You can be convinced.
I could be convinced, and I think like a theme that we're bringing through, or we're going to be bringing through in some of the bigger, content series that we're putting out, is kind of like, day trading, futures prop firm trading. Everything happens online on the screen, and there's a lot that happens in real life, whether that's like the trader themselves when the markets are closed, they have a life, or whether that's that there's a real hog in that contract that you're trading. And so I think we're going to just be kind of like breaking down some of the fourth walls here for our viewers, and also just purely for my own entertainment.
It's amazing. It's amazing. We're going to have some fun. I love the taking delivery idea. Let me just say, people are like in chat saying, how is there just this many spins? If you're like this, the wheel is spinning constantly, guys. I mean, we are like, Rick is clicking it as fast as he can. So I really don't know what to tell you. We can't spin it any faster. We're at like 127. Someone's been like, oh, it's been streaming for 45 minutes. There's this many seconds. You've only spun it this many times. Like, come on, guys.
We can. It's safe. We can only do it safely. We don't want
to break the wheel, bro.
We
It
could break
is.
the
Yeah,
wheel. Rick could get hurt, and that's a workman's comp issue that we don't want to get into.
he's gonna have carpal tunnel.
There's
Carpal
all
tunnel.
sorts of litigation that this opens us up to if we don't spin it right.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
That's very important. So the wheel is not stopped. Just to be clear to everyone in the chat, the wheel has not stopped spinning, and it will not stop spinning until we're done here. Let me see. We got some rapid fire questions that we're gonna ask all of our hosts. So let's just we're gonna rip them here and just rip the first that comes to mind.
Let me just lock in real quick.
Yeah, lock in.
Okay, I got my actual top prop firm
There we go.
jersey on now.
Finally, we got Tradeify up here. We did Apex, we did Alpha, obviously.
My boy Brett's shout out to Big Brett.
Say shout out to Big Brett. Rapid fire questions with his third prop firm sponsorship of the day. Let's go. Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Cats. Why?
I have one, and I think you have to earn their affection versus them just giving it to you.
Amazing. Is trading or is trading gambling?
Gambling.
No.
How proven or back tested, it's fucking gambling. Okay.
Amazing. Touching grass or smoking grass? Topical for 420.
Smoking grass, but then touching grass right after.
So it's not which you do both, but in the order matters.
The order is preferred to smoke and then touch. Yes.
I could tell you wrote these. Breaking Bad or actually doing meth?
I would say actually doing meth, just because it's more interesting than watching Breaking Bad for the 15th time.
Manual labor or feet picks?
Manual labor, just because I think like I would have a really cold only feet account. Like I wouldn't get a lot of motion on there, and it's not because my feet aren't good. It's just because it's like you got to game it a bit, and I just don't have the energy. I'd rather dig a ditch or whatever.
Don't have the energy to crush an OnlyFans feet account, but manual labor, we can pull that off.
Yeah.
Awesome. Locked in a room with 10,000 spiders or locked in a room with 10,000 Discord traders?
Oh, those are like two of my biggest fears. I would say spiders, probably for like the smell factor. Like they probably don't, you probably just wouldn't get hot in there.
It would not get as hot. Patagonia vest son or VC backed daughter?
I think VC backed daughter.
If you want to elaborate there.
Nah.
Just let it hang. Amazing. I think no one is going to take offense in chat that you'd rather be locked in 10,000 spiders and locked in a room with 10,000 spiders over them. Joe, thank you so much for hopping on. We're going to have you back here after we go through the rest of the guests. But yeah, why don't we give you a little bit of break, and we'll bring Rick on, and we'll bring you back on later when we get the whole gang together. Thank you so much for elaborating here and pulling back the curtain on your brain rot, broken brain.
My absolute pleasure.
Awesome. Let's get Rick. The Rick face reveal. Finally. Rick, how are you doing?
Amazing. Happy to be here.
How does it feel knowing that you were just constantly clicking the wheel and seeing chat and them complaining about you not spinning it fast enough?
I mean, would you guys rather it crash and then sit in a ticket for a week waiting for me to send you one? I mean,
is wild. So you're one of our best vibe coders, but maybe one of the best vibe, not just one of Lucid's best vibe coders, but one of the best vibe coders in the world, I'd venture to say.
thank you.
So you vibe coded this wheel. Has it ever been under the load that it's currently under?
Yes, I think we did one where we tagged everybody and then it just wasn't ready for that. I had no, I expected max 1,000 people in there, and yeah, it crashed. And now I have a whole backup system for this. So if it crashes, there's a backup folder that just fills in the entries and all that.
That's amazing.
So you learn. you
You
know?
live and you learn. No one ever gets the vibe coding. There's always a little bit of iteration, right? The first time, there's always a couple tweaks, and then we perfect it.
Someone
Um,
said, you test in production. Yeah, that's how it works. So
that might be what makes Lucid so great, right? Is we test in
yeah.
prod. Just gotta send it. I think that's like the common factor of how we've built this business is like, how do we find out if it works? Well, let's just release it to hundreds of thousands of people, and if something is broken, traders will let you know about it, and they will not stop screaming until it's fixed. So we like Joe is saying, that we have a great, one of the most powerful market research tools maybe in the world, and the fact that traders, they rage quit in real time when something is broken. And we also get that on technical feedback as well, where they let us know as soon as something is not absolutely perfect. So Rick, we've known each other for, I want to say, 3 or 4 years. Joe, I've known since we were teenagers. We met through trading. Why don't
Mhm.
you tell us, a little bit about, same thing, like how we met, what were your thoughts when, we decided to start Lucid? Kind of give us like the precursor to your journey to what led you here.
Yeah, so we met. I mean, I'm gonna have to redact a little bit so I don't dox admin a little too soon.
Yeah.
But
Don't
we met
prematurely
through
dox them.
admin. Yeah. And yeah, we met 3, 4 years ago in a trading group.
Mhm.
And I remember you came on and mentioned something about starting a prop firm, and that was, I was very excited. It was after the whole, the FTT debacle, and yeah, I just wanted to get in. I was like, I'm excited for this, and this is gonna be the most exciting journey that we'll be on, especially with people that I just met online that I've never met in person. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah. I think
I might
something that's
get
something really cool about you in particular.
hmm,
You started out as a support agent day one. You were answering tickets, right? That was your
yeah.
first thing. And I think I had, like, when we had first, like, we had talked a while, but never about, like, your professional background or whatever.
Mhm,
You were like, what do we need day one? I'm like, well, we're gonna need help with support. And you weren't like,
right.
you were just like kind of just a support agent. You started right from the foundation. And you had told me, you're like, yeah, like, I'm into coding a little bit, like, I do some things here or there. And I was like, oh, like, do you have, like, have you ever done it for a job? Do you like go to school for whatever? And you're like, nah, like, just on my own time. And honestly, like, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, he fucking found Chat GPT and thinks he's a developer. But I like, not that I didn't believe you, but I was like, we'll see what happens. But I remember, we had started, and Lucid Admin has like been like, yo, like, Rick actually knows a couple of things. And I'm like, does he? I don't know about that. I mean, I know he's high all the time, but I don't know if he knows a thing or two about like development. And but he's like, no, like, he's actually done some pretty cool shit. I'm like, all right, well, give him more responsibility. Like, let's see where it goes. I'm happy to give someone the ball. And like, it became immediately apparent that I had underestimated you significantly. And I think,
I honestly
God,
did not know anything. I just winged everything I did was in the moment, winged it, everything, just and now we're here. It all worked out at the end, so I'm happy.
well, I think
Happy with
that,
how it turns out.
yeah, for sure. I think that embodies the spirit of Lucid. It's like, none of us kind of, like, we all knew, generally speaking, the direction and how things are done. But like, when you start a prop firm, there's no manual, right? There's no set best practices, right? You just kind of have to throw yourself in and figure it out along the way. And you've done that kind of in your own professional experience, right? And but I think it's also because if there's one thing that I know to be true, and it's been it's been very clear in this Lucid journey. It's like, one of the most important things is just finding people that are ready to roll up their sleeves and get their hands dirty, even if it's on a problem or a topic that they've got absolutely no experience in. Finding people that are just like, you know what, like, fucking give me the ball, let me see if I can figure it out, and like, not stop until they do. And I think you are someone that very much so takes that approach and has that mindset. There have been so many nights where it's there's been 20-hour days, there's been 24-hour days, right? Especially during some of those outages, right? There have been runs where we are up on Discord troubleshooting something until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I mean, you coded sometimes until with some other guys until 6, 8 o'clock in the morning sometimes, and then you have an inbox of 600 tickets to deal with. So to that end, what was a moment where did you have any moments that you were like, I've made a huge mistake and I should not have done this? Or, if you didn't get to that point, what was the closest, what was a time where we almost broke you in terms of the workload of getting things done?
In terms of, I mean, it never really got that bad because of how much love I have for Lucid. I feel like no matter how hard it got, I would always just push through. But it was definitely, at the very beginning when we first started getting, an unnamed platform and all these, outages, and I would just be up all night fucking working these outage tickets all night long. Those were the tough nights, because back then I still didn't have any of the automation I have now. So it was really manual work. And now it's with the knowledge I have, it's a lot easier to go through, any big problems.
Right. Do you do you think that, so now we have a support team. We've got I think we definitely have at least 30 people. We might have 40 close to. Do you think that the support team has it easier now than you did at the beginning, or are they getting it worse now? And now that we're bigger.
No, 100%. They had it way easier. We had obviously less ticket volume and way less automation and intercom that was going on. Now there's a lot more that takes off their hands, which is I'm glad to be able to be the stepping stone for them. I'm happy.
Yeah. You've been a trooper. You've been a trooper. You've also been the most fired person at Lucid, right? In your vibe coding journey, there have been some there's been some trial and error, or more like errors than trial, right? So the first time I fired you, did you know that I was joking, or did you think that you might actually be fired?
No, I felt like there was always definitely a little bit of truth to it because of how bad I messed up at the very beginning. So I definitely was a little scared that it might be true, but I knew that I was gonna show up the next day and I'll just show up anyways. And if I'm fired, fuck it, I'm fired, but I'll be still working either way. So
yeah, it would have been funny as a joke to actually take you off payroll and you get that email that you've been removed, just to kind of make you sweat. I thought about doing that a couple times just to fuck with you, but I didn't. I was just too lazy to go and do that. But for everyone that knows, they've heard me joke about firing you a bunch. Rick, he never got that far where the paycheck didn't come. Although there is one time I was like, we should dock his pay at least for one. Do you know which one it was? Take a guess.
I know which one. I definitely know. It was the free accounts. Definitely.
Free accounts. There was
that one.
For those of you, I think it happened. I want to say it happened. It was 5 months ago. It was in November, right? So it was perfect. I know when it happened, right?
Yeah.
With the worst of the Project X outages, because we didn't have enough problems on our hands. There was an issue where Rick pushed something, and for those of you that to put it simply, not every sometimes a credit card transaction will fail, and it's not supposed to do anything, right? Because the transaction fail. Rick, through his vibe coding, unfortunately made it so that even the failed transactions created accounts. You guys, some of you might remember what we're talking about. It was like I said, back in November. But yeah, they were like, what was the count? How many free accounts did we give away accidentally?
It was like 2,000-3,000.
2,000 or 3,000. I think, thank God it wasn't today's volume. What a disaster that would have been. I I wouldn't have fired you. I just would have killed you, honestly, if we did it at this scale. But we gave away failed transactions were creating accounts. and it actually wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But there was a group based out of a certain country that figured it out, and they were just like
Yeah.
entering incorrect card information on purpose because they knew. And there were like a bunch of people, there were like 20 people that signed up that had never traded with Lucid and just ripped off like 100 failed transactions each, getting free accounts. And yeah, that was a fun one to unfuck. Mostly because we had just had a week of Project X outages. We're like, the weekend's here, we'll get to relax a little bit, and then we find this problem. And I was annoyed, but I was also so numb. But I think one of our lead developers was, he knew a lot of the fix was going to fall on him, and I was worried for your well-being. Honestly, I thought he may have killed you. I could have, he would have been justified. Honestly, I would have helped him hide your body just that weekend. But we got through it. We got through it just like we do everything else. But that was my favorite Rick firing. Not my favorite. That is the one that will always stick with me. That was amazing.
If my CTO wanted to kill me, I would just let it happen,
Yeah.
because he has full all rights.
Absolutely. So what are your, so that was a memorable firing. What is like your top 3 moments, like good or bad? What are the ones that stick out to you in this journey so far?
Top 3 moments, I would say definitely Lucid Cases for sure. That's a great success so far. People love it. And I did a couple of redesigns. The dashboard redesign. Yep. The affiliate stuff, the affiliate dashboard and all that. And yeah, I mean, I've loved everything I've worked on that has worked. So
even if it didn't work the first time, you ended up making it happen one way or the other. Yeah, the dashboard redesign was something that was really cool. I think that it was at a time, I think it was funny because there was some other kind of outage. I mean, it wasn't our fault. There was some outage that happened around then, and like the chat was like half, wow, this dashboard redesign is sick, like W Rick. And then also spattered between that, there was like, Rick just closed my fucking ticket without responding. What the fuck is this? And so like there was like an equal amount of love and hate like that weekend. I remember feeling so bad because you probably slept like 15 or 20 hours in the week leading up to the dashboard redesign. And so like you're trying to give the traders this really cool update that makes using our services a more streamlined and modern experience. And you got people cursing you out because they didn't like how you handled their ticket. What is it like? How do you? I know mentally for me, like I just let the insults slide off my back and I just hang on to the good things because you'll never make everyone happy. But when you like push something great and then you also have people like shitting on you at the same time, so how does that impact you mentally? Do you just take it, or does it kind of hurt your feelings sometimes?
I mean, I've gotten used to it. That's what happens when you wear multiple hats at Lucid and you have your hands everywhere. So, and the weed helped. So,
Weed helps. Have you started smoking more weed since you started working at Lucid just to deal with the
for
pain?
sure.
Yeah.
My weed expense has doubled, by the way. So I have to send you those receipts.
Yeah, let us know. We'll reimburse you for it. Yeah, there's something about the prop firms. There's an element of having to numb some of the pain. So on that note, it's 420. Are you celebrating 420, or you just kind of every day's 420 for you, and so there's no point in going harder?
Every day is 420. I don't remember the last time I did not smoke. So
it's probably a week ago, but you just can't remember. Oh man.
Well, yeah, it's tough.
There was a small idea. I haven't smoked weed in years, but for a while there was a thought that maybe for this stream that I should be hotboxing The Office right now. That I thought about it for a second, but I think most likely the outcome for that would have been that because it's been so long, I would just have a panic attack and end the stream early and not want to talk to people. So we put a kibosh on that. But I think it's I mean, listen, at one of these anniversaries, like if this is the day of the year that we're celebrating every year, we'll have to incorporate it at some point. But I just the first one, I wanted to make sure that the first stream went well. I didn't panic quit on this joyous occasion. So maybe we'll save that one for a later date.
And the next company trip, we'll just have a smoke circle going.
Okay. We don't drug test at Lucid. We test drugs. That's how it works. What are you most excited for this year? Like something that hasn't come out, or maybe improvements on something that we've already started, like looking forward into the future. Like what are you excited about?
There's a lot that is going to be coming for Lucid Cases that I can't talk about yet, that I'm very, very excited about. I'm very excited about.
What are
And
give us a little teaser. Give us one thing that are most excited about. Pick one. One. I'll give you one leak.
Okay, we did talk about more ways to get Lucid Cases to earn secret keys, and that will be a little bit of trading. There will be a little bit of trading involvement there, where you earn keys based off of your performance.
Right. So would you venture to call that like maybe like an XP system, right? It's like
Exactly.
you do certain things that gives you XP, and at certain levels that unlocks certain rewards.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly like Call of Duty. No difference.
Is that your game of choice, Call of Duty? I know that
Call of Duty, Fortnite, yeah.
I know that so for those, I think we called this out on, I don't know if it was one of the streams or maybe it was a town hall, but the original design for Lucid Cases was very much so like the CS:GO aesthetic, right? Where it's like it kind of rotates through, and a lot of people were, they were saying, oh, like you should have made it like Counter-Strike. So did you feel like vindicated? I mean, we get a lot of positive feedback about the video design, the animation design now, but do you still think, like having seen the reaction, that was still the way to go, or did we make the right decision?
We definitely went down the right path. My first, design of it was definitely good, but we would have for sure gotten sued 100%. And I didn't want that to happen.
For sure. So what are, like, if you were to, earn XP for getting cases and keys, what would be like the things that, if you had to pick your top 3, XP earning achievements, what would those be?
Top 3 XP
they could be serious, they could be serious or unserious.
Least amount of tickets opened. If the month ends and you have less than 10 tickets, that earns you a good amount of XP. We can track that, by the way. So
we're going to pay people with cases to not open support tickets. This is actually the first time I'm hearing this. This is actually an excellent idea.
There you go.
That's a very good one. That'll be like a moral conundrum, right? We get to the end of the month and, like, let's say it's like under 10 tickets and like someone has an outage, but they're at 9, right? So they have to make the decision, like do I get help with my problem, or do I just let it slide and open some cases? That's actually, it's the meme where the guy's sweating and he's got 2 buttons to push. It's like, have Lucid fix my issue, or get a Lucid case key at the end of the month. I love that idea. Let's make someone write that down. We gotta keep that one. We don't want to forget that one.
You can always just wait until next month to open, whatever ticket you were opening.
We're gonna have like a spike at the first of every month of like a tickets of like 1,000 tickets of like, hey, my stop got slipped a week and a half ago. Like, can you fix it? Like, I didn't want to open a ticket so I could get my Lucid case key. That'll be a fun situation to get into. That's a great idea. What else do you got?
It would just be more, how many accounts have you breached? Because I would feel bad for people that just breach accounts over and over. So I would want to give them something, little something, not too much. I don't want to reward bad behavior, of course, but a little something for the for the little guy that's not getting it through,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, a little bit of XP there, but for sure, more trading related of how many upgrades you get, how many payouts, that sort of thing.
Amazing. What else? One more. What's like what an unhinged one besides the tickets?
It would have to be something Discord related. How many gifts have you posted within the last week? If it's
Mhm.
or something ban related. If you were banned from Discord, or if you were muted from Discord for a week, you get a little bit of XP. Depends on how unhinged your comment was.
That is all right. That's a bad one because then we're gonna have some, racist phobic shit in the chat. Like that is a good way to get our Discord nuked because people are going to be saying the most fucked up shit to each other. This is why Rick is typically not allowed on camera. Sometimes his ideas are good. Like he started off hot with the not opening a ticket, and then he's basically turned it into we're going to have like the most insensitive, politically incorrect, even beyond what we've done. What we'll have to do is like I get what you're saying. Discord related is good, but it's got to be something that one can't get us canceled, two doesn't have people attacking each other super hard. Maybe it's like maybe if it's like if a green does something to help a gray, they get rewarded, and if a gray like outperforms a green in their trading, then like they get rewarded for that. Maybe it's like team based. Maybe there's something to be said where we can somehow track the greens versus grays, and like at the end of any period, maybe it's at the end of every week, or at the end of every month, whoever won the greens or the greens, all of that team gets some XP for something like that. I think we need to really
That's a great idea.
Yeah, we need to really stoke the flames of the war of grays versus greens. Definitely don't want to encourage people to get banned, because then we'll have they'll be like, hey, I charged back an account, like I charged back a purchase, can I get my Lucid case key? Little bit of a conflict of interest there, right? Getting banned from doing something that's not permitted to then getting a case, kind of a weird dynamic. But I like where your head's at a little bit. Definitely gotta sass up the Discord a little bit, but there's I don't trust people to get banned ethically, you know what I mean? I do think 100%. That there's maybe some content, we've talked about doing content about people getting unbanned. Maybe there's something to be said about if you get rewarded for good behavior if you come back from getting banned. There's something to pull on there for sure. What's like the most surprising thing you've either learned about yourself or learned about prop or learned about anything else since starting Lucid? Like what's a valuable lesson that you think is worth sharing with the community here?
I think with a good group of guys, anything is easy enough to just become number one in. We can become number one in any space with a good number of guys.
So you would say I could hear everyone cracking up in the background. So I guess the follow-up question is basically what I'm hearing is Rick thinks it was super, super easy to get to where we're at, and it can be replicated maybe across any other industry or space. So the obvious
if it's us,
if it's us, what is your next venture for us to disrupt and flip on its head? Where do we go from here?
The ideas are all yours. I just follow your lead. You come up with the ideas.
No, but you're the one that thinks it's so fucking easy. Pick another industry. We're barely trying, right? Like it's been almost no work whatsoever to get to this point. I barely feel like I've made any sacrifices. So pick an industry. What are we taking over next? Not trading and related. What do you think would be the easiest one? Only feet?
Joe thinks only feet. No, only feet. He thinks it's difficult. I think we could do it. We could pull it off. Only feet.
Who am I the face? Am I the face of this too? Are you selling my body? Are you selling my body?
People love you, AJ. People want to see every inch.
This is my best. This frame. This is the best set. Like I had a kid and started a prop firm at the same time. my lower 80% has taken quite a hit. So like maybe if it were like only dad bods, I could smoke that for sure. Like
There you
I
go.
definitely have an angle there. I don't think that's, I don't know if we could just, I want to give myself, like, I have a great dad bod. I don't know if it's good enough to disrupt the OnlyFans industry, but you know what? I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know how much personality goes on the adult content creator scene, but I love your mindset that it's, we know what, like having this conversation, what I'm hearing is that you are not working hard enough because you feel that this has been so easy. I've clearly not put enough on your plate, because I know that I can hear admin. I can't see admin, but I can sense him fucking dying in the background. And I know that there's a couple other people that are like, Rick thinks this was fucking easy. Like, I mean, we all know how high you are, so I guess we'll have to, that kind of gives that comment more context and color. But yeah, I wouldn't say easy is the word that I would use to describe anything that we've done. But I think that, you're on the younger side. It just shows your you're bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. You're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Like, we could do that. This is a very repeatable thing, and all we do is to like set up a dartboard with a bunch of different industries, and just like we can take over the hoots. Like we can, like why not go into like medical technology, right? Like we could probably make MRIs better if we really, if we clawed it enough. If you have enough Claude subscriptions, like anything's possible. I know that's how you live your life. So it's only a matter of time. Why not go? We can just start our own LLM, right? We can use Claude to make a new Claude, right? And it would probably be better. What do you got? Let's see.
How about an actual casino?
An actual casino? That's too close. We got to do something completely different and see just how easy it is to take over an industry. I love that mentality. It's been so easy. Rick can't wait to start another business. There are a bunch of people that are going to strangle Rick after the stream for that comment, but I love it. It's been amazing. It's been so fucking easy. There are some people listening to this. They're just like shaking, just shaking with rage. All right, let's do some rapid fire questions. We'll get Lucid Admin on here for a moment, and in a moment, and then we'll get the whole gang on here. I can't wait to get Lucid Admin on here to call out that comment. I'm sure he has some thoughts. So let's do some rapid fire. Same questions that we asked Joe. Cats or dogs?
Cats. I have a cat.
You have a cat.
I love them.
Amazing. Is trading or is trading gambling?
Calculated gambling.
Calculated gambling? Amazing. Was that do you feel like that is is that you speaking from your own personal trading, or is that just like an observation at whole?
Well,
because you've gotten payouts.
You've
gotten payouts to a bunch of different firms, right? Like you've been around the block a little bit.
Yeah, no, my trading calculated gambling. Everybody else, I feel like is not everybody. I don't wanna talk shit about everybody. I think some people there are doing good, but yeah, there's a good chunk of gambling going on.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm very excited. This is a debate that I've had with Lucid Admin many times, and he feels very passionate about this topic, so much so that he's refused to answer it on some of the other content that he's been on. So I'm very much so looking to getting his take on your and Joe's opinion.
I think there is a Twitter thread that I was a part of with admin once a while back, and I did say that trading is trading back then, but now I have changed my mind. It is more so gambling than it is anything else.
I think the prop firm experience is jading your opinion on some of this.
100%.
I mean, I think I know the answer to this. Touch grass or smoke grass?
For sure, smoke grass and eat grass too. I'll eat grass.
Eat grass after it's been baked and turned into a concentrate and converted to something actually edible, right?
And drinkable too.
And drinkable. Any methodology. It's only if they make it injectable. I was about to say that is only as soon as science takes us there, Rick will be all over it. All right. Watching Breaking Bad or actually doing meth?
I'm not big on hard drugs. I would watch Breaking Bad again for sure.
Good, good, good. That's glad to hear it. Keep it clean. Keep it clean. Would you rather do manual labor or sell feet pics online?
Can I buy feet pics instead?
As I mean, yeah, I'm sure you do. I know that based on the fact that you wouldn't show your what your ad algorithm was back in the day. You were hiding it. I'm sure it was just like feet pic ads constantly.
Hey, we're still in private window now too.
Yeah,
So
I bet we would not. Nobody wants to see there are cougars in your area trying to sell you feet pic ads along with the wheel. They don't want to see that. Would you rather be locked in a room? I'm slightly adjusting this for you to give it a little different flavor. Would you be locked in a room with 10,000 spiders or locked in a room with 10,000 traders who have talked to you in tickets?
for sure, 10,000 spiders for
What
sure.
if, all right, would you rather be, I'm going to make this harder for you. Would you rather be swimming in a pool with 10,000 sharks or locked in a room with 10,000 traders that you've talked to in tickets? Because you're probably going to die.
No,
Right? You'd probably die with the
10,000
sharks.
sharks.
So you-
10,000 sharks in a glass thing, so it breaks too, and I can just keep falling to my death. Anything.
So you'd
anything
rather
other than
you'd rather die before
Yes.
being in a room with the people that you've answered their tickets.
100%.
Amazing, amazing. Patagonia vest son or VC backed daughter?
VC back daughter.
VC backed daughter. Amazing. All right, we're going to let you go for a little bit. Appreciate taking the time. We're gonna bring Lucid admin up. One thing to the production team. Do we have like a little break thing that we can do? Because either my wife is cooking something or I left the oven on and it smells like gas. I want to make sure I don't die on YouTube. Can we take a little 2 minutes? All right, for chat, we are going to take a little quick 60-second break to make sure that my I'm not going to blow up because it smells like gas right now. Oh. Keep spinning that wheel. Do not stop spinning, no matter what happens. All right. We're back with Rick. Still spinning the wheel. If you guys are wondering why I can smell gas from the Lucid HQ, you'll just have to check out some content that we have coming. We did the office reveal last week. People will be able to see the expansive compound that we've been operating from here. So I'm looking forward to that, but it'll all make a lot more sense why I'm smelling gas at my desk sometime in the very near future. Rick, keep spinning that wheel. We're officially at 300 spins. We want to just keep spinning that thing as fast as you can. If you end up getting carpal tunnel from spinning it so much, you will not get workers' comp specifically. We'll just have to make sure that you can, prompt Claude through like verbal command, right? That's all we
Just
really
send me more weed. I'll be fine.
I'm sure you will be. Let's bring Lucid admin up here. Rick will be joining us again in a little bit once we get the rest of the team on. Thank you, Rick. There he is. There he is. Lucid Admin. This is the most infamous Discord PFP that we have in Lucid Trading. Before we do the face reveal, in chat, why don't you guys? I want to see some guesses as to who Lucid Admin is. I want to see some of the answers. See if anyone has figured it out yet. The wheel will be spinning while we take guesses. So let me know what you think. Take a guess. Before I want to build up the anticipation. This has been something people have been asking for a very long time. Oh no, Lucid is actually Jake. Let's see the answers. Wawa, I guess Jake the Rake. CJ Wawa, very popular answer right now. It's Mrs. AJ. Definitely not Mrs. AJ. It's Gandalf. That would be the biggest. That would be a massive. That'd be a massive surprise. That would have been like the most like long and well planned. Sting operation and maybe ever. John Cena. No, it's not Mrs. AJ. I would not subject my wife to the pain of being involved in a prop firm. Dua Lipa. That would be a massive get if we were able to get Dua Lipa. It's not Michael Patak. It is not. It is not MP. It is not MP. It is not Daryl either. I can't wait for the day. I say this all the time. If Lucid, no matter how big we get, we could pay out $2 billion in a year. Taking over Fidelity, be the biggest financial services company in the world. If I don't somehow get to shoot content one way or the other with Daryl Martin, it would still be a failure. So that's still massive. The Island Boys. It's not the Island Boys. Another person I'm very much so hoping to do in real life content with, because they would, people would absolutely crash out. Let's see. Michael J. Huddleston. That would be, man, we would never beat the manipulation algorithms, the manipulation accusations. I mean, we always joke about rigging things. Who better to be rigging our giveaways than the man who rigged the market? But it's not him either. Why don't we? Is Lucid Admin's mic hot right now? Lucid Admin, why don't you introduce yourself without saying your name, and let's see if the voice is the giveaway. How are you doing today, Lucid Admin?
Well, I think the problem is that our own Discord moderators are telling people in chat who it is.
Right now already? Oh, man.
They're literally doxing me right now.
It is ridiculous. They can't, there's a reason that the Discord mods are Discord mods. They can't be trusted with anything else. Wild. Who was it? Was it King or was it Peter Griffin? Who did it?
We're going to have to go back to the logs and find out. And
yeah, I bet they delete it.
By the way, if you delete your shit because
we can see it
early, we see that too. Okay. And if you try to delete the deleted thing, because we know you see that, we have access to the deleted.
Amazing. All right, well, let's do the face reveal. King, we're gonna have to get King on here at some point, and we'll have to see if he's actually a femboy, if he claims he has, or if he's just if he's LARPing. But let's do the much anticipated Lucid Admin face reveal. There he is.
I'm back.
Lucid Admin in the flesh. Leo the Tiger, one of my closest and oldest friends. Were you before we knew that we were going to have this face reveal? Were you a little nervous to pull down the facade? Are you still going to log in as Lucid Admin with its own personality? Like, what happens from here? Are you just now Leo in Discord or what?
That's a great question. I really don't know. I think that it's a certain part of me wants to keep the Lucid Admin personality alive, because he is a totally different persona. And
it's like Batman and Bruce Wayne. Which, I guess that's a question. If one of you is Batman and one of you is Bruce Wayne, which is which?
Yeah, that's also a great question. I think Leo is actually Bruce in this case.
Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah, mute Joe because I could hear the sounds of Brooklyn in the background. Yes, I think this is a momentous occasion. I don't know if before the mods doxed you, if a lot of people knew. I mean, what's been funny is we've been like planning for this reveal for a while. But what has started to happen is that some of the we've been getting bigger on TikTok, and a lot of the TikTokers have been low key doxing you by showing their DMs with Leo on TikTok.
Yeah.
And do we know if anyone caught on to that, or like did anyone hit you up when that happened, or like, hey, like, you know, I saw you on TikTok?
It's just like the best, the worst held secret, because I would go on their stream. You know, I get on the stream sometimes, and they'll be like, "Yo, what's up, Leo?" You know, it's like I'm joining from the Lucid account. You know, like, what the fuck are you doing? And then eventually, I was just like, you know what, fuck it. You're gonna say what you're gonna say. It doesn't matter. But it's all good.
Yeah, it's hard to maintain control over a TikTok stream or a TikTok chat. You know, you just gotta kind of let them run with it and let it all happen. So everyone knows, because Lucid Admin's been here since day 0. Have you been Lucid Admin since day 1?
There was a point in time where somebody else was sharing the Lucid Admin account, but it's been mostly me.
Mostly you. So it was a bit of a communal account for other people to kind of get in and try to gain control of our horde of traders in Discord. I think when that changed is like, it was never meant to like be like to have its own personality, but it kind of happened over time where like Lucid Admin was like a character. And I think that's when it was like, it's like, well, Leo should just keep the account, because, you know, it was jarring when like Lucid Admin would be one way and then Lucid Admin would be another way. They were like, where's the real Lucid Admin? And that was the voice that you gave it. And I think that it was fun. It was fun to lean into that, because it's like everyone's been like wondering, like, you know, for a very long time, who's behind Lucid. And like, it's just the only public figures were like, you know, it was me, Rick, and then Lucid Admin. Like, as far as anyone else known, that's the whole company, right? So I think it was a lot of fun to see the anticipation build, to see all the guesses along the way. So what are you? Does anything change for you now that your Lucid Admin account has been you've been revealed as the man behind it, or is this just now business as usual for you?
I mean, I think business as usual. Hopefully my DMs don't blow up.
They will.
Because
you should close them.
I really don't want to have to turn them off like you've had to. But no, I don't think anything should change.
The only reason I changed, the only reason I closed my DMs, and this is the only reason, is because, you know, I don't know if you've ever gotten these. I got a lot of DMs of people writing me like novels and like love letters asking for a free reset. Like hundreds. I had hundreds of them, like explaining their whole life story, from like, you know, their childhood traumas to, you know, something that happened in their marriage, and like it would all end with like, for that reason, you know, everything above, like, can I get a free 50K reset? And I read some of them, but you know, they got longer and longer and more frequent, and then I was like, there's just no point, because there would be real DMs getting lost in those stories, those manifestos, if I could be so bold. And so I was like, you know what, I'm not even getting the real messages I need to see, so I'll just close them. That way people know that if they're, you know, they're trying to reach out to me, that it's just not going to happen. So if that does happen to you, you're going to be forced to the position, but I hope you're spared. So, you know, you've been Lucid Admin since day 1. Why don't you give us a little background, same way everyone else has, like how we met and like how that parlayed into your role at Lucid, and like when it started, and give us the origin story.
Well, I'm not supposed to be here. That's the truth. We've all met through OFL, and we started that in 2020, and I know a lot of the crew that is part of Lucid now through that, and we built our own little Discord a long time ago and started trading together. And that went on for years, 2 or 3 years. And then the FTT situation went down, and you were like, I'm going to start a prop firm. And I was like, you're actually crazy. Good luck, wish you the best. And I remember like you went out and started to do all the paperwork and did all the things and raising, capital and, with investor, you were building your pitch deck and all that stuff. And I was like watching from the sidelines in pure, it's almost like, you actually know a train wreck is about to happen. And all you
It's
can
happening
do
in slow motion.
is just like watch it but I also have to encourage you as your friend to continue down the path that I thought was going to end you. Which did start to happen.
It absolutely did.
And I saw from a distance and I was like, I think I can help you. I might be of value here, right? And so I think, you and I had a conversation about, okay, maybe I could help you with a few things like the website, maybe some, affiliate contacts, just kind of like a little bit of, help here and there. And that quickly turned into, I'm actually involved in like every aspect of the business at some point in the future. And that was not planned. So now here we are. And it's just like, it started out really small. Obviously we started with Rhythmic. We didn't have tons of people that jumped on day one, got Project X and then Tradeovate. And it's just like, it totally blew up and there was really no opportunity for us to make any changes to what happened. And so this whole time it just had to be, on the back burner of who Lucid Admin is.
It's funny, like, so just to give like a little bit more color, like before the FTT thing happened, like as we were all trading firms and everything, like even, starting, I think 2022 is when we both kind of started messing with prop firms a little bit. And I think the first time you were like, you should start one of these, AJ. You like joked about it, I think in like late 2023 or whatever.
Yeah, I did. I joked about it before, a huge rug pull.
Yeah. It was so like, there were jokes, like, I think it was like My Fund of Futures right around when they launched was when you started joking about it. Not because of them, just because it was clear that the space was still growing, right? I think even us, we were trading with these firms. We're like, is this like whole industry real? And like, basically the back and forth, like, AJ, you're like, AJ, you should start one. I'm like, nah, we're too late. And then like that kept, we would just joke about it intermittently. And then, we've talked about this before and you just mentioned it. When that changed was around FTT and it was because like, I think that what we saw, like the leading up to FTT, right? That was when like, Apex had they had like a string of outages and like, everyone went from like, not everyone went from, but like, I think that those outages with Apex like made FTT pretty popular because they were the other firm that had the 20 accounts.
Yeah.
And then everyone the day, like after, people were like talking shit about Apex, like meeting the traders. And then FTT happened and all those people that were talking shit went like right back to Apex. And I'm like, this is like one of the most resilient, like, customer bases that like is known. Like,
see, you picked up on that.
Yeah.
Than I did. And I was like, how would they go back to the thing that just beat them over, just denied all their payouts and like they got rugged from FTT. Then they're like, okay, well, where am I going to go trade? And it's like, oh, we'll just go back to Apex where they rugged me by payout denial.
Yeah, well, there's varying degrees there, but like, yeah, it was like the switch, it was very clear, I think, in that moment that it's like, we can find a small niche of like making a firm that people are like chill to kind of hang out with, right? Like, I think there's something that like is very easy to observe is that like traders have a pretty short memory, and like you can get back into their good graces very quickly. And we were like, I think the industry was kind of still in its infancy then. And I think that you've seen a lot more stability from the top firms in the last 12 to 20 to 12 to 18 months. But there was still like a lot of uncertainty as like, I mean, so many things happened, right? Like there was that rhythmic instability at Apex. There were, FTT was FTT, so many changes where like, My Fund of Futures and Tradeify were still new. And even though they were growing fast, they weren't like totally proven yet. And like, even before that, Top Step like made a huge change that had them explode going from 1 step to 2 step. So like the whole space, and that all didn't happen at once, but there was just like, it was still so early because the whole industry was still like what it is now is still taking shape that we're like, I went from, this is, we're too late to start one to like, we're still early and now is the time to strike. But I definitely think, from, beyond that, like, we were talking about what had just happened. You're like, wow, he's going to start the firm now and take this seriously right after a massive rug pull. Probably didn't seem like the most sensible business logic, but I mean, it certainly either through genius or luck, I can't tell. It ended up being true. So, I'm certainly glad we did what we did. What's up?
Not a word I would use.
What?
I would not use the word genius.
No, but some people. I'm just saying, some people might use that word. I'm using it because I'm offering it from other people that would say that. I'm not calling it myself. Certainly not. The other word, the word that I want to use, I don't want to use on stream, but that is what it truly was, and we max out on that. But yeah, so like along the way, you tried to talk me out of it several times. And several, you're very concerned. You're like, this is a bad idea,
right?
And to be fair to me, most of my ideas have always been pretty bad, and they've some of them have worked out to various levels of success. But the worst ideas always had at least some level of success. I wasn't always able to land the plane. But you know what? I never had the right team around me for some of those other instances. And I knew that, there was part of me that's like, if I put myself in enough danger, Leo will probably say, I need to help him and, come in and help things move along. So I just kind of intentionally, or it's not intentional, subconsciously, I was like, let me just put myself in this position. And I'm sure Leo will come around eventually. And thankfully for everyone here on the stream, you did.
That was your bet. It was just that was that I would come around.
Exactly. And I said, I've taken many bets to different levels of degeneracy, and it's led us to this point. So it was clearly a good one. Glad that it paid off for sure. But I'm very glad that we ended up here, and it's been hard, but it's been fun. We've there's the pace at which we've grown has made it like hard at times, I think, to enjoy what we've built. But as we kind of scale, like we're adding a lot of people now, we are at like a pretty massive scale where it's hard to keep exponentially growing the way that we have. I mean, we're still adding traders at a crazy pace, but I think we're getting a better handle on it, and we're adding teams. So I think we'll, start to move more from the, this is a daily panic attack to actually operating Lucid is really fun every single day. I think we're gonna near that transition soon. So I'm very much so looking forward to that phase of the journey, just kind of enjoying it all. But on the topic of like the journey here and things that have happened, what was your worst day at work so far? Like your number one, the thing, if there's one day where you're like, this, I should have let AJ die in the prop firm streets instead of help him like I did. What's the top one that comes up?
I think it was just, I can't name a specific day because there's been so many. But there was a string of outages that we had to power through at the same time. Rick's bullshit happened and the website was always crashing. It was just like, there was one day, I'm not going to lie, I'm 42 years old. But at the end of that day, I was in actual tears because I was like, it's not even worth, like, you guys don't even understand how much pain and suffering we've had to go through just to get here to, to just say that, hey, we built something that is going to survive. And there was a day where I was just like, I don't think it's actually worth that. Like, and it was just like, I'm ready to be done. But I don't even know what day it was.
It was we were only like six or 7 months in, I think, about that. It was definitely during the Project X outages. I think we're talking about like November. It's definitely in November.
I know that we were all on Zoom and I was just literally in tears and nobody knew it. I was just by myself in my tears while on group chat with you guys.
Yeah, it was there was a run where it's like we were new to NinjaTrader, so we were exploding, right? We had like 100%. We had like 5x to the first month, and then we doubled again the month after that. And it was like that was exploding, and then Project X was like on its way out. And then Rick blessed us with that debacle that we talked about earlier when it was just the two of us, where he was giving away free accounts. Like we were like all so spent, and we're like, finally, like it's the weekend, we'll get 48 hours of, of rest, of somewhat rest. And then Rick just absolutely puts he digs the knife right into our back. What a gift from him. So that was definitely wonderful. I guess to that end, like, there's been days that are tough. What do you do, at least? Like, what exactly do you do? I think, you're kind of, one of the jokes that I say is like, when you're a startup, you need to wear a lot of hats. And I think that you have the biggest head of everyone because you wear every hat. So like, why don't you share, with the group some of the things that you touch, on a daily basis, if we have enough time here to cover it all.
Oh man. Well, I talked to most of the affiliates, or I used to. I would say not anymore. So we kind of started the whole affiliate program. The smallest of the smallest affiliates to the biggest, the largest of the largest. Deal with the website day in and day out. Make sure that everybody who should get an account gets an account. Handle people that are transitioning to live, build the live transition program. Talk with you about different changes that we're going to make and different decisions we're going to make. Help hire the entire customer support staff and mods. We have 40 mods and customer support staff. I've almost hired all of them. So that includes interviews, coordination, making sure they have email and intercom access, all that good stuff. Dealing with Rick's bullshit. What did he break now? Talking to Joe about his unhinged ideas. Talking now with, other, like, we're building a merch store, so putting that up. There's all kinds of stuff. I mean, I don't know where it stops.
I don't think it stops ever. I think my favorite, not my favorite, the thing that impressed me the most was it's both like my favorite and most impressive because the website. Because I remember when the first thing that like you offered your help with was like, hey, like your website needs some work. Let me help out with that.
Yeah, it was
bad. It was bad. And I think in your mind, you're like, let me kind of, mess with the aesthetics a little bit. Yeah. Let me, do some basic design things on the website. And you've messed with websites before, but in no way, shape, or form were you like a website developer, like at all.
Not even
right. Close. So you went from, I was like, sure, you can, mess with the headers. But it turned into you building out like the entire end, like all of it, right? You did the aesthetics, you managed and set up and tweaked the plugin that drives the affiliates. During our early days, when the first like month or two where we were licensing someone else's software to get off the ground, we transitioned away from them, and you actually built the engine that connected checkout to account creation.
Yep.
which is something that you've never ever done ever before.
Ever.
You had zero experience with that, and we simply tasked you with the entire account creation, entire account creation engine, and nothing hinged on that, right? If that didn't work, we would have been totally fine if accounts couldn't get created.
Yeah.
So that was a super, low effort, not at all stressful thing. And just like everything in between, right? Like everything that happened front and back of house on the website, you basically built from scratch with almost no experience, building a website in that way. So, what were like when you were to launch something like in those early days by the time like 3 months in, you were kind of like at least a intermediate level website engineer, but like those first like, that first 30 to 60 days when you realized how much you were going to have to take on for the website without really being an expert in it, what was that like mentally for you? Like how many times were you like, AJ fucking should be kissing my feet right now? How many times did that idea come into your head? And like, what was the most stressful part of it for you?
No, I never thought you should be kissing my feet because I don't really think that highly of my skills, even as I was learning them. I'm just here for the ride.
Mm-hmm.
And I, like the day we launched the first iteration of our dashboard is the same day that my wife gave birth to the last child we just had. And I think of those times as fun, it's like fondly. I was actually in the hospital with her the day we launched the dashboard, and we had to take it down to make some modifications. So I'm like on my laptop, close my laptop lid, put the change into like the proper clothes to go into surgery because she's having a C-section. I literally had a baby an hour later. I'm not kidding. So it's just like it's chaos is just part of my life. And that's what this whole thing was. It was just chaos. Like, oh, we have to solve this problem. Okay, well, I'll do it. That's just how I think. And now, thank God we have other people that are way smarter than me that are managing the website, that are handling the dashboard, all of those things and all the new shit that we're going to think of to deploy later. So for me, it's just been like a fun adventure that now I get to hand off to somebody else.
Is there any part of you that like, are you going to miss doing website things, or like now that we have you're like, someone take it?
Yes. Please.
Will you ever build another website, or did we ruin it for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's ruined for me. I don't really have any interest in doing that again. Next time I say, I'm like, oh, I have a visual eye for aesthetics. I don't know shit about aesthetics.
I'm glad we permanently scratched the itch of like wanting to get involved in websites for you. You've accomplished everything and more that you would ever want to with that for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on the topic of some of the challenges and some of the harder things, and we'll talk about some of the good stuff too. But when Rick talked about how easy it was for us to accomplish this and how we could do it in any industry, I'm pretty sure that was you chuckling that I heard, like laughing in my ear.
Dying of laughter. In fact, I was almost falling out of my fucking chair.
What do you think that we're just not giving Rick enough work, that he thinks that this has been easy, or like what do you think about like just that comment and about where when you heard it, like what were the first moments that came into your head, and like what do you think about Rick as a human being now that he said that?
I mean, here's the thing. What Rick doesn't understand is he has no background to pull from, right? And he literally hit the lottery ticket with the people and the team that we have. Not gonna lie,
right?
I mean, from the marketing guy to you to the database admin, like I'm not gonna lie, guys, we have an amazing team. We've accomplished an incredible amount of things in a short amount of time. And Rick just thinks, oh, this is just fucking normal. You start a company, You get a couple of people to do some things, you get some vibe coders to do some things, and then boom, you just have like instant success. This is not how this works. In the same span that we launched Lucid, there was 5 or 6 other firms. Some of them came from big, Forex backgrounds. They have all come and gone, right? So I just think it's hilarious that he thinks. I think it's just a matter of his lack of experience in the business world, and the fact that he just literally got onto a rocket ship, which we didn't even think was possible. Right?
No, we did not.
We didn't even think we would get to where we are today. And Rick's whole viewpoint is like, oh, this is just normal.
We may have fucked him up for the rest of his life. Like, let's say like, Rick ends up in some other job, like down the line, he's gonna be like, why aren't we like a multi-billion-dollar company yet? It's been 3 months. Like, what happened? Like, are you guys okay? Do you guys need my help with something? Like, he's not going to understand how, he's like, I have Claude. I upgraded my subscription. Like, why are we not the number one company in whatever industry we're in? Like, this is easy work. Like, he's not going to understand. Then that's
if he has to leave Lucid to go do something else. He's probably going to go through several major depressive episodes, and he's going to have to smoke so much weed that he won't even feel it anymore. It will just be like, he has to do it just for baseline.
Yeah. He's like, when you go to high school and you have a kid, you have someone that's like, star of the basketball team, but then like can't even make D3 in college. And like, they just talk about like, their, that varsity shot that they took in the county championships. He's gonna be talking about like his days at Lucid for the next like 60, 70 years. And by like, a decade in, people are like, that's just Rick. He peaked in his early 20s and has nothing else to show for it.
Now, to be fair, so we've kind of raged him here. I have an incredible amount of respect for Rick and the work that he's done and his tenacity. Like, he reminds me of myself, just younger.
Wow. I think Rick you probably just brought a tear to his eye when you said that.
I think Rick is such a cool guy. He's always down, even though so the one drawback with Rick is that he doesn't wake up, right? So if you actually need something early in the morning, just you have to know that you can't count on Rick because he won't answer his phone. He won't wake up till 10 o'clock. But when he is awake and he is, usually he works till 2, 3 a.m. and at night sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
He's a baller. Like he gets in there, he gets it done. And I think, that's something that his generation is missing. He has some of the best qualities that we know, millennials know. I wouldn't call you a millennial, AJ, don't worry. The millennial generation has some good qualities that I think is missing, except for Rick. It's like it landed on Rick somehow.
Mm-hmm. I think my favorite, beyond the the free account payment issue, I think probably the moment that you think most fondly on for Rick was the launch of NinjaTrader.
Yeah,
because for those of you, just peel back the curtain a little bit, we did a new type of giveaway for NinjaTrader. I think it was like, it was like buy 2 get 1 or something like that. It was something to that effect. And there was a special code, like Rick coded the whole thing. Like he's been like owning the code about how to do certain things with our promo codes. Cause we want to make sure that, affiliates get commission because, they get not happy when they push sales and don't get credit for it, which is
it was the dual code thing, right? So it's like we had one sale that we wanted to give to everybody, and then another like once you set up, kind of like the way it's done now. So we had 2. It was 2 uses of 50% off, and then it would drop to 40 or 30.
Right.
And
so
we didn't want to do 2 codes for that.
Right. So Rick had written that all by himself because at that point he had proved that he was not as stupid as we all thought. And so we let him do it. He like tested it and it worked great. And he up and that push to NinjaTrader was obviously huge. So like the night before launch, he's like, all right, it's live and whatever. and I think he probably went to sleep at like, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And then all of a sudden, like he launched it, he watched it, I think, for like 15 minutes, nobody complained, and he went to sleep. And Leo, being the animal that he is, he's like, let me just like stay up for a little bit longer, make sure everything's working. And all of a sudden he started getting pinged from people that it was broken. And so he's like, oh shit. So he's like troubleshooting it himself. It's code that Rick wrote that Leo is not familiar with. And, like we mentioned before, Leo is not naturally a web developer, but, he was calling Rick like all night because he's like, this is Rick's code. He could probably fix it in 5 seconds. He's like, I can't fucking fix it. So I don't know. I think I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning that day, and
I had already been going for 3 hours.
I wake up. I just wake up in the middle of the night sometimes, and I wasn't planning to wake up that early, but I looked at my phone and I just see like fucking 50 notifications from Leo. I'm like, oh Jesus. And I look and I probably went to bed at 2, and like I told, like we were probably on, and I was like, all right, I'm going to bed. Like, let's get a couple hours of sleep. And then I see Leo's just been up all night. I'm like, Jesus Christ, like what the fuck is going on here? And I remember we got on, and the pain in your voice that I heard, like when we got on voice, I was like, oh Jesus. And he was just like, he's like, Rick's shit is not working. He's like, I don't know what I'm fucking doing. Like, this is the coupons are broken and I can't fix it and I can't get a hold of Rick. I called Rick like a whole bunch of times. I know that, Leo had called him. We get our other tech guy up and he's like, what the hell's going on? I'm like, Rick broke everything. And we tried to figure out for a couple hours. I don't remember exactly how I think we just talked to the affiliates. We're like, hey, we have to roll this back. We'll figure it out later. But I think, we pushed the fix, got at like 9 o'clock in the morning, which was 30 minutes before the NinjaTrader launch was active. Rick gets on 30 minutes later. He's like, hey guys, what's up? Like, how's the code? And I don't like Leo just fucking went on a rant, and Rick's like, I'll fix it. He hopped off, got back on 5 minutes later. He's like, it's fixed. And then Leo's like, it's too late. It's too late. The market's like, we just reverted everything. And Rick was like, oh, like you should have called me. And I think Leo was about to
called him fucking 7 times,
Yeah. That was a moment that I think, that Leo was definitely almost about to stab someone. So, but that was of all the things that were broken. Like, I mean, that was actually, there's always been something fun about launches, right? So going back even a little farther, for our actual launch, like I said, we had day one, we didn't have our own system or our own software. We licensed it from a company that, let's just say it wasn't great. But the day, like the leading up to our launch, we were having stability issues amongst a whole cast of other issues, but we had thought that like we'd gotten it to a stable situation. In a very similar vein, we were all up until 2 o'clock in the morning doing like our little pre-flight checklist. And it's like, all right, it seems okay. And like Leo and, our other tech guy kind of like called it a night. And like, as we still had a couple beta testers going at that time, even right before launch, one of them pinged me and they're like, hey, the dashboard crashed. And at this time, it was not a system that we could fix. Like we were licensing it. That continued for the first, like, I think the first month and a half into launch before we got our own system up. But like 2 o'clock in the morning, the dashboard's broken and I'm like pinging them in Slack. I'm like, update, like, what's the update? We launched in like 4 hours. We launched in 2 hours. We launched in 1 hour. And like, it was, I think we launched at 8:30 and it was like 7 o'clock. Leo gets up. He's like, hey, like what's happening? I'm like, the dashboard has been down like all night and I don't know if it's coming back up. I had drafted actually the Lucid launch is canceled, like Discord announcement because it was broken. Like it was drafted and I was like, I'm going to have to fucking rip this. And by some miracle, it just came back up in the 11th hour. Stayed out. It was actually relatively stable. I mean, relatively stable for what it was the first week, but there's just always been like around some of these launches, like so many small miracles have been performed like in the last 60 minutes before something big has gone out. And it's been a wild ride. That one actually wasn't Rick's fault, but like, I feel like every one of us, both, we've all had those moments where someone is just like, quietly dying through all hours of the night through some fuck up that's before a major event, and we just kind of through a sheer willpower and a little bit of luck, we've always managed to kind of pull it off, which is like, I think a huge testament to all of our tenacity. So it's always been fun. So yeah, we've been talking about the pain that we've all gone through. Why don't we spend a little bit talking about some good things? Like, what's the thing that like you're most proud of that's kind of happened, and what are you most excited for in 2026 and beyond?
Well, I think one of the reasons that I was willing to get involved is because the space was in so much of a shamble 12, 13 months ago. And I felt like with the right team, we could be somebody that comes in and helps provide stability to the overall space. Because I think genuinely that prop firms are good for bringing more people to trading futures. And so I thought that it would be a worthwhile cause to be involved in something that was is a good responsible firm, right? Nothing crazy, whatever. There's other firms that are also on that top tier list, but just better options for people to go trade with. And so for me, that's my most proudest accomplishment at this point, is we've gotten to that point where it's like, hey, when you talk to or you see, hey, who are you trading with? What are your top firms? We're always in the running to be on that list. And I think that's a testament to, everybody's commitment to being on that top tier, that top tier list.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think, I think we always knew we had it in us. I think kind of I know my hope, I don't know if you shared the same sentiment, but I always wanted to be like a top firm reputation wise, meaning like people just like had fun and knew they could trust us.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever like expected to be like number one this fast, because we were just like, let's just have fun with it, right? Let's do right by traders. Let's just be ourselves and good things will happen. And we'll get to a point where we're doing really good work. But I mean, kind of taking it to that, like getting to that, like, S tier level was something I think that we were like, all right, if we're really good, that'll happen in 5 years. We could be there in 5 years, like number one. Never expected it to kind of get to this point this fast. Is there anything in particular that you think, or is there one thing or a handful of things that you think have allowed us to get here? And what are they in your mind?
Well, I mean, the truth is the only thing that really got us here was National Concrete Day.
That is a fact. That was actually the turning point, kind of, in a way. That is when the acceleration really took off. And I think there's no denying that was a milestone moment for us.
I mean, we had a lot of things go our way.
Mm-hmm.
We got Project X, and then we got Trade of 8 right after. So we had like 2 months of pure launch. And then right after that, we had, fiasco of Project X, and then now had to decommission it. But then other firms kind of made mistakes, right? And so we were able to capitalize on those mistakes. Funny Ticks went down. Top Step made a bunch of mistakes, pissed off a bunch of traders. And then at the same time, Concrete Day came, right? So it was just like, you brought in Concrete Guy to start talking about National Concrete Day. And then all of a sudden we have, we hire people to make fun of us. It's just the Island Boys, it still gets people on Instagram to this day. And it's just like, no, that's a scam firm. It's like, no, it's just, we're having fun and being responsible, and you're allowed to do both,
Right.
And I think that's all of the combination of everything it's not just one thing.
I think part of it is like, even in trading as well, like you have to be someone that takes the bad just as much as the good, because there is going to be so much pain and failure along the way that if if you can't take both sides of that coin, then you'll never be here long enough. And that's also true for prop, right? Like you have to have fun through it all, no matter what happens, because there are going to be some very, very bad moments. And so just being able, like, you have to be committed to being, to having fun with it no matter what. And I think that, you see a lot of traders, like you talk to people and they all have like, I would say like the personality trait of just like being able to take themselves very seriously and not seriously, like at the same time. And I think the fact that we very obviously do that and are not shy about that with, our business, that's helped people connect with us on a a different kind of level, right? It's like, there's something about like trading with Lucid where it's like, it does feel very much so like it was built by, the people that you all hang out with in, the Discords or whatever trading communities. It's because that's what we are. Like we've taken our little community of traders, meaning like, like us internally. And we've kind of just built a prop firm and like ran it like we were, like we were kind of hanging out with people that we're friends with. And it's given traders like that home, right? Where they're like, oh, this feels like a place that, everyone is very relatively like-minded. Obviously we've got some traders that are a little more unhinged than others, but there's always levels to it. But I think people, they just feel a comfort level once they kind of hang out with us. And I always knew that would be like a good part of the value proposition. I didn't think it was going to, send us into the stratosphere, but like you said, there's also a couple elements of us being able to keep up that post Trade of 8 NinjaTrader momentum from turning other people's bad luck into our victories, which has been very, very cool.
The real profits are the friends that we made.
The real profits are the friends we made along the way.
That's true.
We've made a lot of friends who are very, very profitable. So what about, coming into the future here? I know obviously there's a lot of things that you're excited about. One of them being that you finally have some other people to take some of the hats off you and do some of the help you with some of the work that you've been doing. Maybe your head is feeling a little lighter because I think we've taken at least 2 hats off you at this point. But beyond just like, taking the time to scale the team and getting the bodies in here that we need to keep Lucid growing, what are you excited for in the future? Like things to come down the road?
Yeah, I think there's new markets that are coming out. I think that will be exciting. There's single stock futures, maybe even some event contracts. I'll use the standard term, but prediction markets will be fun. I think that where the cases are going, the Lucid cases are going, I think is going to be just an insane amount of value and fun along the way.
Right. When so you're not a huge gamer by nature, and when I used to be. I used to be. What were your big ones back in the day?
Huh?
What were your big ones back in the day?
I mean, how far back?
You tell me where to start.
Yeah, so we're talking about Mike Tyson Punch Out. We're talking about Zelda.
Okay, Grandpa.
Mario Kart, NBA Jam.
There you go.
This is now I'm talking your language.
Yeah.
Sonic, and then like later on, obviously get into the stuff that kids are playing these days. But
right, I think the reason I asked because when I first brought up like Lucid cases, obviously the industry language for them is like loot boxes. I think when I first brought it up, like you were like, okay, I think I see it, but also you didn't fully like understand it. Like, did you think that I had like gotten to Rick's stash the first time I was talking about it and that I was kind of crazy? Or your initial reaction, you're like, because you were like, yeah, I'm into it. But then we had like gotten a call, and I don't remember if it was you or if it was someone else that said like, can you like explain the logic here and like why you think this is going to be so big? But like, what was your initial reaction when that idea was kind of pitched?
I was all in as soon as I actually listened to the conversation. As you say, I don't ever listen.
Yeah.
As soon as I just locked in for a second, I was like, oh, this is actually crazy. But listen, there's so much creativity and like just so much fun we can have with it. Like imagining you open a Lucid case and you get, like credits to the merch store that we're building. So you can then order a shirt, coffee mug, other fun giveaways. I just think it's a fun way to engage with people that are already highly, into that type of stuff.
Right. There's so much potential, and the loose. I would say, for those of you watching, quick update: we've given away 540 cases so far, and every single one of those has an account. So we've already given away 540 accounts. I haven't checked Twitter. I hope someone has gotten a save 90 or two at least. But the where Lucid cases are right now, this is like, I mean, the longer we talk, the bigger the idea gets. But we're like scratching, 2 to 5% of the surface for where we're going with this, at most. I think some of the ideas that we've talked about so far, like Leo said, like giving away credits to use at the merch store. We can do, one of the things we've talked about is like case exclusive account types, meaning that, let's say you've got a 50K flex right now. When you get funded, you got a 2K payout. What we want to do is we want to be able to put inside the case an account, a 50K flex account, that when you gets upgraded, it's got a higher payout cap. Maybe it's got a 3K payout cap, right? There's a mythic 50K flex account where you can get a higher payout that you can only win, from a Lucid case. And maybe we take it even farther than that, right? Like maybe the payout cap can be even higher than 3K. Maybe it can be higher than that. Maybe we do a pro account with like a better consistency rule and funded. We can kind of take it however we want, but I think the goal, like there's a couple goals, right? We want to do something that's fun and engaging. Obviously giveaways are a huge part of marketing for all prop firms, right? Like everyone does giveaways, but as we wanted to like, it's like, all right, giveaways are cool, but like, how can we make them more fun? How can we make them more engaging? How can we make the stakes a little bit higher where you're not just, all right, I'm going to get an account. Like maybe the account's better than what you might normally see in a giveaway, or maybe it's an account that's even better than what you could buy at Lucid. That's the end game. It's like everyone gives things away, but and they drive a lot of engagement, but it's been stale. We want to spice it up. We want to make sure that when people are getting cases, they're really excited to open them. And I want to hit on that in a moment because we did our first firm-wide case opening a few weeks ago, and it didn't go without a couple bumps in the road. And I think I want to peel back the curtain a little bit on that so that everyone could kind of, so people can see where we're going with it, and also some of the funny things that have happened while we're testing things out. So the goal for Lucid Cases Iteration 1 is we wanted to have a couple things. We wanted to obviously give away accounts. We wanted to give away good discounts. But, part of Lucid loot boxes in general is not every case that you open is great. Anyone that's played games before, sometimes you open a case and you don't get something amazing, right? You get something that's okay, but not something amazing. Our idea for loot box, the first global opening that we did when we launched them, we wanted to have accounts. We wanted to have, 50% off or better discount codes. And we wanted to give away a payout certificate skins. Right. For those of you that have been watching these streams, we did the payout certificate contest, which was a lot of fun. And we picked the favorites, right? And the favorites were Job Application, one of our most unhinged Discord members. He put together a very bespoke and tasteful Microsoft Paint certificate.
He also, by the way, he's applying for a job right now. He wants
job applications, applying for a job.
Put his job application in.
I mean, I feel like I don't know what we can find for him. Maybe in order to get an interview, you have to go through job application. I mean, that would obviously be on brand on him, but I feel like he would filter out talented people that he just didn't like. So I don't know if we can give him, that much power. So he made a great cert. And then there was one, I don't remember who made it, but it was hilarious. It was the casting couch certificate, which was also very, very funny. That one was, not tastefully done, but also super funny. So we were like, all right, we got to get these certs in the loot boxes. the Lucid cases. But what we found is that, you know, we wanted to obviously the end game is for people to get lots of different certificates and to be able to choose between them, right? And so the team was working on coding that, right? Because it's like you can't just snap your fingers and make something happen. There's got to be some development. And I wouldn't say just it was in the time constraint. It was hard for us to figure out. Well, not us. It was hard for our dev guys to figure out how to create in time for the launch the ability to turn certificates that you won on or off. So it's something that we're going to have, like we want people to have lots of different certificates and we want them to be able to choose them. But the issue we found was that the way that we were going to launch it, you were going to be forced to receive a payout in the certificate that you wanted the Lucid case. So what had happened was we realized that if we launched the Lucid cases with the certificates, everyone would have been forced to have the casting couch cert. And it didn't seem like a problem at first, but then I was thinking, I'm like, you know, we have a lot of funny people in our community, but there are also some normal people. And I was just like imagining some middle-aged mom getting her first payout, maybe with a prop firm ever, and she gets hit with the casting couch certificate. That felt potentially over the line. You know, I mean, we like to push the limits of what's appropriate and what's not. And like, you know, I just was thinking about my mom. Like, what if my mom was trading?
We've seen your mom too.
And you've seen mom. She's a very wholesome, sweet lady. Yeah. I'm just imagining her getting her first payout, being super stoked. And then that she gets hit with the casting couch and she would not know what it was. And maybe she would like, you know, God forbid she went into Discord and she was like, hey, what's going on with my certificate? And you have someone like job application, like trying to explain it to her. And I'm just imagining that play out. And I couldn't do that to somebody, you know, I just felt wrong.
Listen, I was ready to push it. This is 6 hours prior to the actual launch. You know, we've got it all ready to go. And I literally get rugged by AJ. AJ's like, guys, I think this is too far.
I don't say that often. I don't say that often either.
We found AJ's line a few times in the last couple of weeks, so that's I remember like we got on a call. I'm like, wait, this might be a bad idea, and we were talking. Leo was just dying. Like once I painted him the picture of what I was imagining, he was laughing. But Rick and our other dev guy, they were not happy with me because I had said like we really want to get this out like this, and they're like, you're gonna fucking rug it. Like they spent so many like late nights trying to make it work. I'm like, we cannot make the moms of Lucid get the casting couch as their payout certificate. So we like yanked it at the last minute, and that's when I was like, listen, just throw some 40% off codes in there. It's all, we don't have enough time. We got to get this out. So that's why like everyone that got a 40% off code with that like global launch, you were supposed to get the casting couch certificate, but we had to pivot at the last minute because I didn't want to give anyone's mother a heart attack. But in the future, like when we do the global drops, like there will be, you know, it's not going to be everyone getting hit with coupon codes, right? I mean, even these cases that we're giving away right now, every single one of them has an account. No one has gotten a promo code from these 580 that we've given out. AJ, I think you need to come clean on something on the 40% off coupons.
What part?
Those were supposed to be 35% off, and I talked you out of it.
They were. Well, they were. All right. So
can you imagine how fucking pissed off people would have been if they were 35?
So like they were supposed. There's a couple things that happened. We had the 40% off 5 uses. Like, you know, we had run that for a while, and then we hadn't refreshed them when we came up with the first set. So like we saw that like most people were out of 40%, that first batch of 40%. So 35 was still going to be better for most people because our base is 30. But then we refreshed the 5-pack for everybody, and I didn't thank God you caught it because I really hadn't even thought about it. You're like, AJ, look, like I know that we just refreshed the 40%. Like we're going to be giving some people like a worse code. I'm like, yeah, but you know, some of these are supposed to suck. And you're like, no, like we can't give them something worse than what they already have. I'm like, fine, whatever. But you know, there was an element of, it's kind of ironic because if we hadn't refreshed that 5-pack of 40, the 40 would have been, everyone would have been stoked. we basically gave too many. We gave away too much 40% off, and that's what ended up blowing up in our face. I think next time we learned a very valuable lesson. It's too much of a good thing can be bad. So we'll just have to make sure next time we're thinking of giving something out, we don't also give it to them a week before as well, and people will not they'll appreciate that. We kind of joked about this, I think, a little bit before and after, and I think it's something I'm very curious to hear about from chat. We had one of the things that we're definitely going to be putting in these cases is we're going to be putting some memes in there, just fun things that don't hold a lot of value. The idea, the big picture idea is to give people memes, and if you collect, let's say there's 10 memes to collect, and you collect all of them, that gets you something really, really cool. Maybe it's a trip to Lucid, or a dinner with us, or something that you can redeem that's super rare. But what we had thought about is maybe if we ever have to be in a situation where we have to give out something, but some of the cases can't win, should we just give people, should some cases just have a middle finger come out of it and be like fuck you, you got nothing, and that's a joke. And we were wondering in the aftermath of the 40% off, would that have been better? Would people have preferred to tell us to go fuck themselves over 40%? Because we talked about that internally, and then online someone actually made their own, there were a bunch of homemade certificates, Lucid case photoshops, and someone was like, you should have just given me this, AJ. And I was like, dude, we literally were talking about that. So I'm curious, chat, if you think that would have been better or worse than getting a 40% off code. Let us know what you think. We'll use that for future market research.
I mean, my mind goes straight to McDonald's.
Mm-hmm. So wait, you're saying we should end it at 5, or we have to end it in 5 minutes? End at 5. Yeah, I think 5's long enough. Does that work? Cool. Sorry, doing a little production background chatter. So we were wondering what people would prefer, the middle finger or not. I'm seeing some people laughing in chat. Some people are saying that would have been a very bad idea. Seems to be split, but maybe we would have won. We would have won some people over. Can't make everyone happy. You gotta laugh. I mean, I think we do a very good job of that. So I think we should probably get the rest of the gang on for the rest of this. But before that, we've asked everyone the rapid fire questions. I'm gonna hit you with them as well, Leo. Cats or dogs?
Dogs. First dog person of the day. I'm allergic to cats. My favorite one to ask you is trading or is trading gambling? It could be both.
It could be both. That he's changed his answer since being involved in prop. Touch grass or smoke grass?
Touch grass.
Touch grass. What mow grass? You mow your own grass?
No, hell no. Who mows their own grass?
Watching Breaking Bad or actually doing meth?
I'm gonna go with him watching it. I've never done meth, but it sounds interesting to try one.
You got to try everything once, right? You got to see how it is.
Yeah.
I would want
to watch it.
Would you rather do manual labor or sell feet picks?
Selfie picks. I had 3 whole days of manual labor, and I'm fucking cooked. Holy shit, I could barely walk.
We've broken Leo. We've broken him.
Yeah.
Would you rather be locked in a room? All right, I'm gonna give yours a slight pivot as well, because I've put everyone in their worst nightmare. Would you be rather locked in a room with 10,000 spiders or locked in a room with 10,000 affiliates?
Affiliates all day.
You'd rather be that? That's a fucking. Well, that's a lie. Bold-faced lie.
No.
Patagonia vest son or VC back daughter?
I'm gonna go with Patagonia vest son.
Nice. It's the first one for the sun. Appreciate the rapid fire round. Let's get everyone on here while we're still spinning. We want to get as high of a. We might have to figure out how to give away more of these. Maybe I rip it to a town hall after this. We got to get at least over 1,000.
We got to give them all away until we give them all away.
I know. I don't know. What is the time? I'm surprised that we've only got 700 here. Is
Oh,
the animation 10
It's
seconds
Rick's
itself?
fucking vibe coding shit you see right here.
Yeah.
We should already be at fucking 1200 or something, but he said, "Oh, don't." He's traveling right now, right? So he said, "Don't worry, guys. I'm gonna have great internet." Now he's blaming his internet for the why it's so slow.
Is that what's happening here,
Yes.
Rick?
No, that's false. False.
So
It's not. I didn't think the animation would take this long, to be honest. And look, I'll just keep it. I'll let it keep spinning, and these will all be in people's mailboxes, email boxes, whatever, soon enough.
So if you are, if you're wondering how we've been spinning these every 5 seconds and we're still only at 600, it's because of Rick. So, one more. Do you want to fire? Do you want to fire him? Do you want to fire him this time, Leo, or should I do it?
I think he actually needs to get fired.
I think he actually needs to be put on some kind of suspension here.
The worst thing possible is for him to get fired while he's traveling abroad.
That's true. He can't. It's hard to recover when you're out of the country.
Yep. Fucked up, Rick.
So now that we've all kind of we've opened up a little bit and shared some backstories. I see. Oh, Joe has switched to the Funded Futures family hoodie. One more company in the rotation here. We went around at the conference and Joe was like, "I'm going to get merch from every single one of our competitors," and we've got a deep roster here.
I had the Caribbean rum flowing through my veins.
Joe,
and,
do you have any Lucid merch?
I do. I do somewhere.
Are you sure?
It's just like it's like a rarity thing. It's like there's so much Lucid merch at my disposal that it's really not as fun to wear as something like a rare, very rare Funded Futures family. Maybe 10 of these made in the world.
It's definitely exclusive. It's definitely exclusive.
How many cases? We have 620 cases given away, and we thought we could do.
I thought we really. I mean, I figured 2 hours. That's 120 minutes divided by 5 seconds. I was like 1400. I was like 1400. We're not even halfway there, and we've been streaming for well over 2 hours. So there is some. That's Rick for you, right? Like everyone got to meet him. They understand the condition that he's working in on a day-to-day basis. I think it probably makes a lot more sense. I think people have been like, "Oh, AJ, you're being so mean to Rick." Maybe not mean enough. I think that might be
he's like, "Oh, it's so fucking easy. You just build a firm and you become the top player in 1 year."
He can't even build a wheel.
Do a fucking wheel.
He can't even build a wheel the way that we need to, and he's gonna, we're gonna take over another industry with him leading the charge. I mean, it's what
AJ hasn't gotten up to pee not once. And this just reminded me of the Ninja Trader launch.
Well, hang on. How do you know he didn't pee when he took a break earlier to check the gas? That could have just been him taking a piss.
No, I really do have to pee right now. I really have to pee. I also drank. Look at this Dunkin' Donuts size. So this is one of the big ones.
That's a streamer mistake right there, bro. You don't.
Yeah.
Drink liquids right before you get on stream.
I need the caffeine. Like I said, it was a long weekend. I'd rather have a full bladder and
caffeine.
Yes, exactly. I'd rather have the necessary caffeination and a full bladder than to be here sluggish.
Hold on. They say don't fire Rick, just take his weed away.
I mean,
no, then my performance would be a lot lower. I would not be performing as I am now.
How would you know?
How do you call this performing?
Because listen. Let me tell you how I would know. Let me tell you how I know.
It's so slow.
Hold on. Okay. But I haven't smoked weed in a week, so that could explain why the wheel is fucked up right now.
True.
I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if I believe a week. What happened?
I'm overseas. I can't get weed. I wish I could. I'd be smoking right now. That makes
a lot of sense. So I think what I'm learning here is you're never allowed to travel internationally again unless you can be fully off, because you're going to be completely incompetent when you're abroad. So I think we have 30 more minutes here. but I think we need to game plan. How are we going to get to the 1,400 plus spins that we need to if we have to hop off? Because if we end another stream not having given away exactly what we said, I think there's going to be a fucking riot. And so you've got to be coming up with a strat here, Rick.
So
can we
we're
move the
thinking-
wheel to like town hall and just let it run while like auto?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have to manually click it, or can it just like go on its own?
It'll auto spin. Yeah, I can
Okay.
leave it do its thing.
So if we don't finish here on the YouTube stream, we'll send the wheel to the town hall and we'll keep spinning it. That way you guys can it will spin until all. I think, what do we have? 1440 is how many we have?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 1440 cases are going out one way or the other. No matter Rick's incompetence.
Join town hall too, and just sit there and spin the wheel.
Say it again.
Rick should have to join the town hall while the
Yeah.
wheel spins and entertain the chat.
It'll only
You should
take another 2.5 hours, so I'm sure he's got nothing to do or nowhere to be.
It's
We're halfway
midnight.
done.
Look, there's no sun.
There you go. So Rick's got all night. No excuses not to be there.
And he said that food places are open late by him, so it doesn't matter if you're on till midnight, right, Rick?
Well, I'll go get food. Come back. Yeah, it won't matter. I love my chat. I'll like be here all night entertaining them. I'm cool with it. I'll jester. I'll be the jester.
Jester maxing.
Mr.
Rick,
Mac.
Jester Max.
Rick is gonna jester max until the Lucid community is Lucid case pilled.
I'm not seeing any save 90 on X, by the way.
Hmm. Are they pre? Do we know if there's some save 90s in there, or these are randomized from the rip?
They're randomized, but
Yeah.
there are some people will be getting save 90s for sure. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna need to. Hopefully they're lurker. They're active. They're not just pure lurkers, and they're active enough to rip them. I would need to see one of those on X. So if you get a save 90, please share it on X. I'm dying to share. It's a guaranteed retweet from the Lucid account. So we've all been hanging out here. We've all been listening to each other. Let's start with Joe. You went first. What have you heard from like Rick and Leo that surprised you that you didn't know? Like what stuck out to you from what the other two guys have shared?
Hearing Leo's softness towards Rick was not something that I didn't know or didn't expect. But it's more of like an unspoken, thing that they have. And so to hear it verbalized in such a poetic way, Leo, that really, really touched me, really pulled on the old heartstrings. And then I guess yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm a sensitive guy. I'm a softie. All right, I don't know what to tell you. But I was quick tear to the eye, a little Kleenex moment for me, and then from Rick, I knew Rick was a marijuana addict, but I didn't know to the extent, and so I feel sort of like THC mogged by him, and I wonder if I need to Cushmax today and this week just
to keep up with Rick.
Field.
Yeah,
I mean, hey, look, who brought weed to the work trip last?
Not me.
It was Rick. Our company get-togethers are they're very serious and formal events. And, if you ever see the Lucid gang out in public, we're most likely just, really super focused on work and keeping things 100%. Oh dear. We like to have some fun. So I think Rick, you listen to Joe, you listen to Leo. What kind of stood out from both of them when you heard them talking?
What stood out was how much Leo had to say about everything I did for the promo stuff. I mean, look at the promo vault. It's perfect. No issues, trial and error, like you said, or error and trial, I guess. It's but it works out at the end. So, and I'm happy that Leo has a soft spot for me in his heart, somewhere deep down, somewhere just really, really deep down.
I mean, he said that you remind him of himself, and considering how much Leo loves himself, I don't think there's a greater compliment in the world. That had to be a big moment for you, Rick.
It is. It is. I'm gonna thank God this is gonna be on YouTube forever. I can always come back to this.
I'm
Clip
taking
that.
that shit down as soon as we're done.
Clip it. Clip that, chat. Make sure that's clipped.
That shit is getting deleted. I have access. So
what about from what Joe's? Did you already say what you would like from Joe's, or you're still hung up on that? You're still riding the glow of that Leo comment.
I think I'm always gonna be writing that forever. I'm gonna bring it up every time he yells at me on voice. I'm just gonna be like, remember that one time? Just remember that there's a soft spot in your heart for me, Leo. I'm always gonna make it up. So, but
that's gonna lose its power fast.
But I like how Joe and I are connected with cats and weed. We have things in common. We have things in common.
How about you, Leo? From what Joe said and what Rick said, what kind of stood out to you?
I mean, it's just the I underestimated how much THC maxing was occurring. I had no idea how strong the connection is there. But listen, you got to give it to him. Joe's creative as hell. You wouldn't have National Concrete Day without THC. So I don't know how you can discount that. And then Rick is hit or miss. So maybe he's still working on it. But maybe he's too much. Maybe it's earlier you said like too much of a good thing is not always a good thing. So maybe Rick, you should just tone it down a little bit, right? But
should we rent out a concrete slab and throw a massive event, but just on a concrete slab,
like a big flat rectangle, like an actual just like big thing,
huge concrete slab?
Could it just be like? Could it like instead of just being like a flat slab though? Could it like have a tilt to it?
Yes,
like
go on for in party hazards.
Yeah, so like you have like a band or some shit like at the top of it. Like okay, so there's that place in Colorado where it's like in the canyon, right?
The Red Rocks.
The Red Rocks. So the band or whatever the fuck is at the bottom, right? This could be a slab that goes up and the band is at the top.
Yes.
And everyone's
concert from the top of the Lucid concrete slab.
I went to the Lucid concrete slab and all I got was neck pain and this t-shirt. We can make work that says that.
There is I'm so glad I got to whip out National Concrete Day as like someone was yelling at me on Twitter the other day and I didn't really understand what they were saying, but they were talking about concrete like the entire time and I'm like, we have a tweet for this. We have a tweet. I'm like, I feel like that was like a prescient decision from Joe. He's like, at some point in the near future, someone is going to, make jokes about concrete and AJ is going to need this content later. And I feel like you just saw that coming from 6 months away. You know what I mean?
Some people see trends in the markets. I see trends in the memes.
There you go.
I'm long National Concrete Day.
We put in the first bid ever, maybe the first buyer on National Concrete Day.
We're going public. I think that also think about how many just Discord users we had in December versus how many we have now. I bet a lot of people are like, what is that even referring to? Right. Maybe we need to retweet some of our old bangers, our unsung heroes.
Yeah, we'll have to go back. Some people are new. They missed some of our maybe greatest hits.
Could be.
Do you guys? So on the topic of marketing and some of our great hits on X, do you guys? I mean, Joe and I talk about content all the time. Leo, when you're paying attention, you're also contributing to that conversation. Do you guys want to pitch? Should we pitch the chat on some unhinged ideas that maybe we haven't all talked about? Do we all want to give it a marketing pitch and get chat's feedback, live market research?
I love focus group. Hell yeah.
Let's
I'm a
do
little
focus
concerned
group.
about the chat though, because they've been doing like they've been doing Lucid, like they're just spamming bullshit, thinking that gets them an entry into something. It doesn't. So I don't know. Maybe we're gonna have to rely on the Discord chat a little more.
Yeah, is that what they're doing? They're spamming W, thinking that it gets them an enter. Is that how it works on some YouTube
Yeah,
chats?
I've had to ban so many fucking words just while we've been on stream. I had to ban the word lucid. I had to ban exclamation point entry. And then I had to ban the regular entry, and then had to ban exclamation point key. It's like, guys, you're not winning shit. You know, it's like
just keeps the engagement up in the YouTube algo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's just like we rigged the giveaway, so it's not even bots can't even win. It's just rigged. So there's nothing you can do to win. And if you say it's a rigged giveaway, it's like, yes, all of our giveaways are rigged. I don't know why you like.
Why should be surprising?
Yeah.
You had to ban
AJ. The giveaway is botted. The giveaway is botted. Like, yes, it's actually rigged. It's not even botted. We don't even need to bot it.
We had to ban the name of our own company in our own YouTube chat. That's classic Lucid right there. You know, it's not safe for people to say the name of our company. My favorite, you know, before we do some focus group pitching, I think something that's very funny is like, so we obviously do code drops in our Discord, or we used to just drop a lot of codes in chat, and they were always like gotten pretty quick, and people were like, oh, like it's being botted, and we're like, oh, they're being dramatic. But we did take a look a couple of weeks ago, and they're definitely someone actually, it appears to, or there are a couple people that actually did write a script to somehow like bot those. And it's just like, it's kind of hilarious to me that, like, you know, someone's in a prop firm, you know, Discord, they see that we're doing giveaways. They're like, let me game this shit. Like, let me talk to Claude or ChatGPT or whatever. And it's the best use of my time right now is coming up with a script that just monitors a Discord and automates grabbing these codes. Like, I can't imagine that it was easy. Like, you know, you have to like figure out how you're going to trigger it and how it's going to then go. Like, you know, the bot's going to is your account, are they just constantly signed into lucidtrain.com with with checkout ready? And they're just like, you know, spamming. Like, I don't even know how it works. Like, just the idea that someone multiple people spent the time and energy to figure that out. But good.
We could beat it by having Rick make a bot that's faster than the other bots, so that the scalped cases come back to us, and then we can redistribute them.
We can, instead of letting other people bot our giveaways, we bot them first, basically. Exactly. Well, I think, you know, shout out to Joel.
We should just bot them ourselves.
There we go. You can't. The best way, if we want to rig max our giveaways, we should be winning all of them on our own. Like, we give away the accounts and then we just come right back to us. It's just like a cycle. You know, shout out to Joel, who came up with the wonderful idea of turning these into puzzles that are not like, we're not posting them as text in chat. They're now puzzles. It's kind of like a CAPTCHA, right? It's like, you know, try to get this, but like the bot's got to be, you got to have a really good bot to figure out, you know, Joel's like manual puzzle plan for, he tried Where's Waldo, then he tried color coding them. There's a lot of things that we can do, and Joel is committed to making sure that only the most dedicated people that, you know life our Discord are the ones getting the codes. My favorite one that he did, which we're not going to use permanently because it was so fucked up and people were actually mad and it was hilarious. He did the crossword puzzle, but the crossword puzzle had them go frontwards and backwards, and he didn't tell anybody that. So like, people, that was just like the funniest one because it was really hard. Like, I looked at it and I'm like, dude, like there's no way that they get all of these. So that one, there's probably some still active because I don't think there's no way they got all of them. But you know, we've obviously come up with ways to get around the bots And if you are listening to this stream and you're someone who was botting evals in our giveaway, then your days we're on to you, and we have thrown all of our most important like minds and resources at fixing this problem.
There's somebody here that's actually asking the right question. He said, "How do I get on the rigged list?"
That is
That's a fucking question.
That is the right question. He's like, the giveaways are rigged. That's fine. How do I rig it in my favor? Just by simply having the brain cells to ask that question, you've made the list. So if you send Rick pictures of your feet, and that'll get you on the list that you need to be on.
And you'll get
that will definitely do it for sure.
You get a slow mode skip as well.
You get a slow mode skip.
If you get in my good graces, you might get a code, you might get a slow mode skip, and you know.
I don't even have gift perms in our own Discord, by the way. Isn't that sad?
Joe's locked in with the rest of the grays.
I'm like the gray. I'm the grayest of them all. I wonder if they could teach me how to trade though.
That would be the grays teaching you how to trade is actually a wonderful content piece that I think we should bank that one for a future reference. So Leo, you've been kind of, and I think that I didn't realize you were doing this at first, but it's actually hilarious. Like you've created roles, around GIF permissions and photo permissions and slow mode skip. I think you had been doing it for probably weeks before I noticed it was happening. Cause I saw people like, give me slow mode skip. I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? And then I like opened somebody and I'm like, I saw that they had this role. I'm like, are you doing this? You're like, yes, I've created little quiet, like permission drops in chat without like, just to like get people going nuts. And it's worked wonderfully. Is there a rhyme or reason, of how you have been giving these away? Is there anything people should know if they want to be able to post pictures or if they want to skip slow mode? Like, what do they have to do to get on your radar to have one of those very exclusive permissions?
Don't be a dick. Ask nicely. Don't fucking tag me. If you tag me, you'll probably get banned.
There you go.
But you just have to catch me in the chat. And by the way, if this is the thing, is like if I come into the chat and it's just like, Leo, give me this, give me that, then I'm not gonna do shit, right? So this has to be casual. And then like every once in a while I'll drop in and be like, oh, I wish I had slow-mo skip, and I'll see that and I'll be like, oh, okay, well, permission granted. So I don't ever say anything. I just give it to them.
Yes, I know. Like all of a sudden they just have. Do people get like a notification when they get a role, or they have to? They
have to be looking.
There you go. They have to be looking, and they have to be testing the waters. Like, is my gift going to send? Like, is this photo going to rip? So now it'll be funny to see these. Like, people are going to be just constantly checking their profile to see if Leo has blessed their account with what they want, what they need. I think something. What are I think the grays versus greens something is probably my favorite like organic thing that has like come out, because it just happened without our encouragement. I know that the origin story is someone, gracism is rampant in our chat, and someone kind of came up with that term, and I think that was the day that it started. So we've been talking about the gray versus green competitions. Why don't we all float like our favorite idea for how we can pit the grays versus the greens and turn that into some fun content.
Just one, before we get into that, I just want to make a company-wide statement that we take racism very seriously. Okay. We don't make jokes about racism, and we know that it's a serious issue. That being said, how would I pit the grays against the greens? I think not only like should we test them in like a payout and like correct amount of trades way, I want to go full like American Ninja Warrior. Like I want to like, how about like athleticism? Like are the grays like, can they run faster than the greens? I think that these are things that might change the social dynamic if it turns out that the grays could beat the shit out of the greens if they were together. That might change the sort of the
a green might like second guess next time they're talking down on a gray if they know that they might have to meet one in real life and get the shit kicked out of them.
That's right. That's right. Someone said Fight Club in the chat. Not quite. There will be some sort of rules around it.
Feats of strength. Feats of strength.
Feats.
Yes,
if you
feats
will.
of strength. Yes, feats of strength. There's a double entendre there. What about you, Rick? How do you want to see the greens and the grays go at it?
I just love watching them in chat, fighting it out, attacking each other. And I don't know. I feel like Grays are superior for sure. I just want to see more of them coming on stream, maybe, doing some competition between them. They have to pick their representative for their own group, and then, something happens between those two reps to represent.
Yeah, it's like a
Something like
choose your own choose your fighter, choose your champion for each side and let them go at it one way or the other. How about you, Leo?
That'd be nice.
What do you want to see? How do you want to see the greens and grays go at it?
I don't think we need to really do much. I think they're just going to continue on with this casual gracism, and I don't think it's ever going to end. And I don't think we need to do anything to further entrench the gracism.
Are you partial to one side or the other, or do you love your grays and greens equally?
I mean, I love all traders equally. I'm partial a bit to the gray side because my current color, whatever, is a shaded. It's like a shaded gray, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of blend in with the rest of the grays. I kind of like that. I don't really want to stand out, I just like to slide in the chat and just chat it up for a minute before people are like, "Oh fuck, that's Leo."
Right. You don't want to be directly associated with the greens and their elitist ways, right? It's like,
well, the thing is like I've posted codes before as the gray, whatever I have.
That's right.
The greens have attacked me. This guy is scamming the chat, and I'm like, you don't even know who the fuck I am? Really?
Yeah. Typical green behavior to act like that.
You know what I did to him? I banned him.
There you go. Sometimes even the greens catch those hands.
Yep.
Wait, what about the golds though? We talk green, grays. What about the gold guys?
The golds kind of stay low key. They kind of stay out of it, minding their own business. Might have something to do with why they're gold, but I mean, who's to say that? The golds, they don't seem to choose sides. I haven't seen a gold acting too out of pocket. Have you guys seen that? Are there any golds that are like notorious for
doing it in their own channel though?
The gold channel. The
gold channel, and they do raise their hell in the gold channel, but they keep it low key to themselves.
They localize it. They keep it local to the gold channel.
Yeah.
That's pure. That's like, real true elitist behavior. They're like, we're not even going to post a main chat. We've got this exclusive channel. We'll stay there.
And they talk their shit in there too. There was a guy earlier that was like, "Oh, Lucid moved me before my 5th payout." Like, oh, it's such a scam. It's like, what? We moved you to the live markets and it's a scam?
It's
no consistency, daily payouts. Like, how's this a scam?
Yeah. I don't know why it surprised me, but I love the fact I've been spending so much time on Twitter lately arguing with the people that I've paid out tens of thousands of dollars with no denials and like all the money hitting their bank account in minutes.
Easily.
And they're the ones attacking me the most. I'm like what's it going to take? It's never enough, right? Giving them easy, high to mid 5-figure payouts with no problems. It's never going to end. And, the big punishment is, you put them in live capital with daily uncapped payouts. It's like, might as well be just spitting in their face. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Yep. So I know we have a few minutes here. We do have to end the stream, but the giveaway cannot end because we're only about halfway there because, like I said, of Rick's shitty internet. So, quick question to Rick. When we move this video to the town hall, and I think we should just let it run so that people can watch if they want. I'm not going to sit there on town hall for another 2 hours. I don't have the energy to do that right now. Are we able to get the counter going with it, or is the counter a YouTube production thing only?
Yeah, no, we can do that.
All right, so
it'll just have the
just so people don't call us a scam. Why don't we end the wheel spin here and why don't we stop the counter at 750? Right, let's get to an even 750. And then we will move the wheel and the counter to the town hall and run it on auto and run it to 1440. So anyone, just to be clear, so that no one has a crash out, we are ending the YouTube stream, but we are not ending the giveaway. Rick is going to, once we get to 750, the wheel is moving to town hall. It's going to go on auto spin until we hit 1440 cases. And you can go in there and watch it if you'd like. And if not, if you're in the giveaway, you will still get an email, even if you're not watching. Nobody needs to re-enter. We're not taking more entries. There's already 5,000 people that have been in this giveaway. So we're just, so to be clear, we've rigged the giveaway, but we're not ending it in a last ditch effort scam. But we're already like an hour over our production schedule here. So one more spin for YouTube. We're going to move the wheel to town hall. Watch it if you want, or just wait to see if you get an email from us with a Lucid case key. 750 cases given away. All of those cases have had accounts. You've met Joe. You've met Rick. Leo finally revealed as Lucid admin. We got 1 year in the books. I think this next year to come is going to be even more fun. And what I'm most excited for is that I think all four of us will be able to start to enjoy it more. I hope, or fingers crossed. Not that we haven't up to this point, but maybe less days of, maybe a little bit less cortisol spiking. If I were to make like a 1 year anniversary, wish, it would be that for Leo, not to make Leo cry again. For the record, he wasn't the only one that cried during that stretch. I also had tears a day. So the prop firm game will do that to you. Prop firm game will do it to you. Hopefully the next 12 months we come back and the cry counter is at a nice round 0, or we need one of those things that they keep at construction sites where it's like, it's been 35 days since the last person cried. So hopefully we can start one of those and we never have to put a tally up, but no promises. That's just how prop goes. All the traders, appreciate you all being here and appreciate you just making this journey something that we will never forget. And we're looking forward to keep building everything with you guys. So thanks to 3 of you for hopping on here and keeping me company. Thanks production team for letting us run an hour over, and traders, thanks for being part of our community, and to another fun year.
It's been real.
See chat.
It's been real.
Cheers, everybody.
Bye.